Struggling as usual. Struggling as usual, people. I apologize. I fucked up on the audio again. Welcome back to another episode of Buckle Up with the Boys here. We got handsome Nate Stice, Trevor Ninsmore. How we doing, fellas?
Doing great, man. Glad to be back. I don't know if my Wi-Fi is great again, but I'm trying the best. Yeah.
I'm doing good, buddy. Doing good. Long day of work, but to get to this point in the day, it's worth it. It's worth it.
No, it's a pleasure to be back. I've talked with these guys. This is a little hint to everybody out there. They're going to be doing most of the show. Trevor wants to lead off with some things. I'll touch on some NFL within the show, but I feel like absolute dog shit. And I feel like Matt Canada's playbook, but we're going to get through it. All right. So, Trevor, take over with what you got there, brother. All right.
Yeah, absolutely good, sir.
Yes.
I'll just tell you all right now. I had a rough Saturday. I had a pretty rough Saturday. Obviously, we all saw how the Notre Dame Ohio State game went down. We all saw what happened in those final two plays. Notre Dame had 10 men on the field, and we all saw what happened after the game and the comments that were made. I was originally planning on cutting a scathing wrestling-style heel promo on Ryan Day and how he should keep Lou Holtz's name out of his mouth and all that good stuff. And who knows, maybe we'll travel down that road later in the show. But I will say the football gods, they said, Trevor, you're having a rough day, pal. Why don't we give you a good Sunday? We'll give you a few gifts. Number one, the Ravens lost. Ravens, the Ratbirds lost. Number two, the Steelers, they won, beat the Raiders in Las Vegas thanks to some their offense actually doing something, and thanks to a little McDaniel's mismanagement at the very end of the game. They're kicking that field goal instead of going for the touchdown. And third thing, allow me to get into the proper attire for this. I only got one question for y'all. Actually, I got two questions. First thing, how y'all doing?
Doing all right.
And
Better than those Cowboys, I'll tell you that.
how about them Cowboys?
Oh boy.
You just got beat by Joshua Dobbs. Nothing brings more joy to my heart than watching the Cowboys inevitably suffer. And Christmas came early this year because they lost to the supposed worst team in the NFL. Right? Yeah. Why? A little bit of Dak being Dak, a little bit of Mike McCarthy being Mike McCarthy, but Joshua Dobbs slinging the rock all over your ass. Rondell Moore not slinging the rock, running the rock all over their asses. And of course, like I just said, Mr. Dak Prescott tossing a nice little red zone interception to end the game, to end that total embarrassment, that total display of offensive ineptitude from the Dallas Cowboys.
I love it.
My day was made at that point. At that point in the day, the Steelers hadn't even come on yet. I didn't care what happened with the Steelers. They could have lost by 40. My day was made. Because I could come on this show, I could do my best Stephen A. impression, and I could shit on the Cowboys. Once again, they make it too easy. Make me put in some effort, Dallas, will you? Really? Make it a little challenging for this guy. But they just make it too easy. Every single year they do this. Now, are they going to come back next week and, perhaps win by 20 or 30? Sure. But let it be known that Joshua Dobbs beat the Dallas Cowboys in Week 3 of the 2023 NFL season.
Well, Just
That's
to throw
all I
out there.
have.
Throw off
That's
for
all I
both of
have.
you.
This hat's uncomfortable, so I'm going to take it off.
I love the touch. Every week, I don't know what prop you're going to bring in. That's the spice that I love that Trevor brings to the show.
Hey, man. Steelers offense, they scored 23 offensive points.
Right.
I didn't need to bring the Canadian flags today, which was good because I was starting to run out of flags.
Right. What do you think's going on with Dallas, though? I mean, they completely lay a fucking egg.
It's classic Dallas, man. It's classic Dallas. It's classic Cowboys. The defense doesn't show up like they need to. Dak chokes under pressure once again. And, I will say this, too. Tony Pollard had somewhat of a decent game. He actually got me a decent amount of fantasy points, even though I maybe had no touchdowns here. But we did quickly figure out Rondale Moore. Pretty good as a running back for the Arizona Cardinals, as well as what's his name here, Hollywood Brown. He had a nice game himself.
Right.
But it's going to happen one way or another, Drew. Dallas is going to fall, and it is absolutely glorious every single time it happens.
Right. Natester, what do you think there? I know a little technical issues, but we're all right. What the hell happened with Dallas?
I don't even know if you can hear me.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm surprised you can because I'm cutting up like crazy. I'm trying to get this figured out. I don't know what started going on the last couple of weeks, but what I think happened is Dallas was just being Dallas. Like they do this all the time. Unfortunately, what you guys didn't talk about that I heard, I was breaking up for about 2 or 3 solid minutes.
That's
but
right.
Trevon Diggs tore his ACL, and that is a huge loss for this Dallas secondary. When you have him and Stephon Gilmore, I know it's an aging Stephon Gilmore on the other side, but that's a pretty dang good duo. You got a whole wrecking crew up front, to pair with that backing behind there. So that's a huge loss. But that isn't the reason Dallas lost. I think it's way more complicated than that. It's they didn't come ready to play. You get down early, and this is the National Football League. Anybody can beat anybody. So you have to come ready to freaking play. And nobody is unbeatable. They look like they were the first 2 weeks, but the Cardinals had something to prove too. They just got crapped all over from blowing a 20-plus point lead against the Giants. So, they wanted to come back and show that they're going to be a team that fights. I think they have the weirdest head coach in the NFL history in Jonathan Gannon. He's a strange specimen. Hopefully he was feeling the fire in his gut all game long from winning that game. But I really don't care what he was feeling. All he needed to know is he got a W and he moved to 1-2. And now they're not the worst football team in the league. And honestly, I don't think they are going forward. I know they were 32 in most power rankings, unfortunately, but I'll tell you what, the Bears certainly and the Broncos do not look like very good football teams at the moment either.
No, and just to throw in more my 2 cents here, and I asked Trevor this question last night. This is just a competitor in me. Would you have went for the record last night and kicked the field goal, Nate, instead of kneeing it? Or what? I mean,
no, you didn't need to. There's, this is the NFL. Certainly these are professional athletes that can take it, but honestly, I'm totally okay with the decision. Mike McDaniel respected history. He didn't really run it up. He honestly was trying to pull off, and the Broncos just didn't stop people. They didn't stop backups. He had Robbie Chosen Anderson fresh off the practice squad, one deep pass. He scoots into the end zone. He gave up 4 touchdowns to each running back, the first and second string, pretty sure. So it was just a brutal day for the Broncos, a brutal day for Sean Payton. Good luck figuring that out. That's going to be nice and lovely to navigate with Russell Wilson's, cute little contract that he has. That was a shame. But no, I don't care that they didn't get the record. They're only the 5th team since the merger to get 70 points. That's enough to me, I think.
Okay. Trevor, you still sticking with what you said?
Yeah, no, I was just verifying your stats there, Nate. That freaking what's his name? Devon Akaney. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
203 yards, 2 touchdowns, and obviously, for you waiver wire whores in fantasy football, you were all over his ass.
Yeah, I
and then
would have
Raheem
been.
Mostert had 3 touchdowns. Tua actually threw for 4, and then Mike White even threw one.
Yeah,
Mike White.
Mike White to Robbie Chosen Anderson. The backups
Yep.
were in, and they still were getting it done. It was quite impressive. I think Mostert also had 4. If he had I think he had a receiving touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yes, you're right, and Caney also had 2. I
Yeah,
didn't
so they
realize you
each
were
had
counting
4.
those.
Yeah,
My
they each
apologies.
had 4 touchdowns. So quite the day for everybody with the Dolphins. They look like a scary offense. What I'm unsure about, straight up about the Dolphins, is can you sustain this? Can you sustain this with speed? Is there all like, or is there going to be moments where you have to play power football down the stretch? How are you gonna fare in December and January when everybody's legs are dog tired? You might have to go somewhere where it's snowing or raining. That's just what I want to see moving forward. I'm not a hater. I'm just trying to be realistic with the way they're playing right now.
Right.
And to be fair, Miami is no stranger to some bad weather too. You know, they get all the hurricanes and rain and all that down there. It could make for some muddy games for them.
Right.
But I'm real quick. I'm going to take this freaking flannel off. I'm getting hot.
I mean, I love the getup though. I mean, valuable effort.
I knew I had to go for the gimmick, and the Canada gimmick was getting old. We got rid of that at the right time. Thank God the Steelers actually scored some points on offense, and it's low hanging fruit. The Cowboys.
Right. Oh yeah, show the beautiful shirt there.
Oh yes. Well, it ain't too beautiful. It's the Super Bowl 45 shirt.
That's all right.
That one. Yeah.
No, but just a couple more things, and then I'm gonna let you boys take over. Is it Broncos personnel or is it Broncos coaching? That's the issue. With I know we're heavy on Sean Payton, but I mean everybody thought, and I'm not going after either one of you guys here, but I saw a lot of people saying, "Hey, Sean Payton's going to come in. He's going to fix it." Is Russell Wilson washed up? What the fuck is wrong with this team? I mean, seriously, I'm going to pose that to you, fellas.
Yeah, rightfully so, DB. I came on this show so many times and said, no, Sean Payton's a good coach. He'll turn this thing around. I'll be the first one to admit it. You know, I'm the type of
I agreed with you.
You know, I'm the type of person that if I'm wrong about it, I'm going to say I was wrong, and I'm dead wrong about the Denver Broncos at this point. They have not looked good. They have not gotten their guys involved in the passing game like everybody said they would. I know Cortland Sutton's quietly having a good season. They have a pretty good running back duo with Williams and P. Ryan, but it doesn't even matter if you can't stop anybody. I know this is an offense league and defense is falling secondary to that, but you can't give up 70 points. I mean, holy smokes, you can't give it up. It's pretty wild. I don't know, man. I think it's just a lot of different things. You got some guys that, make a lot of money like Russell Wilson that are overpaid. And then you have a defense that got gutted over the last 3-4 years. You've lost 2 elite pass rushers in 3-4 years. You've lost Bradley Chubb and Von Miller on the same front. I mean, that's freaking brutal. So that's really tough to overcome. There's still some good pieces there. They got one of the best defensive players in all of the National Football League, and Pat Surtain the second there, but it doesn't seem to matter. So I don't know, man. I think it's a lack of depth and talent a little bit at certain positions on defense. And I think it's truly a testament to Russell Wilson just shutting down. His body's starting to fail him and just not being able to figure it out with Denver. And I'll tell you what, I give a lot of credit to Seattle. They saw the writing on the wall. They saw him wanting his big payday. He wanted the earth, moon, and the stars, and they're like, we'll take Geno Smith here. We'll give him a light extension and see if he works out. And if not, we still have Drew Lock, who we can use to tank if Geno didn't work out, and then maybe we pick our guy. But I don't know. They look like geniuses right now. Hats off to them for that move because they got criticized a little bit for that. So
I was one of those voices like you, Nate, saying Broncos going to fix this thing. Sean Payton's going to come in, and they're going to be absolute world beaters. They were one of my picks to make the wild card, along with the Jets, and we see how those picks are working out.
Wow.
But anyway, just to throw a couple numbers out here, obviously Denver now the worst defense in the NFL, giving up 458 yards a game, and enjoy this statistical anomaly while it lasts, giving up over 40 points a game. And
Nice.
Very, very rough. And like you said, Nate, how good is Seattle looking for this, and just in general? I mean, they're out there scoring 37 points a game. They're 2-1. Geno Smith looks like the best game manager on God's green earth.
Yep.
Seattle made out like bandits with this whole thing. It's very, very amazing. And I will say, I know a couple of Broncos fans. I know I'm kind of scatterbrained with my little spiel here, but I'm feeling it for them. I had to call them up and make sure, that they didn't want to jump off a bridge after last week. Thankfully, all is well. They're mentally okay, I think. Maybe they'll just be able to block that out. But dang, that was probably the prediction going into this year that I've been the most wrong on. I mean, obviously the Jets one, I was wrong on that too, but no one saw Aaron Rodgers going down 4 plays in. So
No.
I think we can cut ourselves some slack, those that predicted the Jets to do well with that one. Zach Wilson isn't exactly the best replacement for Mr. Rodgers. Yeah, Denver, just for a lot of the reasons you said, Nate. Defense got gutted. I mean, probably the best player on that defense right now is Pat Surtain, and he's pretty much all alone on the back end.
Right.
They got a good running back duo. They got good pieces around Russell. He's just not able to feed him the ball. He's breaking down. He's washed. I'll say it. He's washed.
Right. No, I agree. I like I told you last night, Trevor, and when I was starting to feel myself, I think you saw that I was getting a little spicy towards the other Madden players online there.
Yes, sir.
But I said Russell Wilson should have retired after the Seattle Seahawks days. After they parted ways, just fucking, what else you got to prove? Just fucking call it. You know what I mean? And now you're tarnishing your legacy, I feel. I mean, but, that's neither here than there. But
if I may interject, Drew, he's more tarnished his legacy with his public image than anything else.
100%. 100%. I'd keep playing if I was paid $250 million. I don't care if people offered me anything to do half of that. I'd freaking do it.
Right.
Oh yes. If you can leverage your playing career in Seattle, which was fantastic, absolutely one of the best peaks that I've ever seen a quarterback have in 20 plus years of being a football fan. But God, it went downhill quick, and so did his public image.
Yeah. One thing I want to add about Russell Wilson, he was one of the first new age quarterbacks that we're seeing. That guy that has a little bit of running mobility, but he can really get outside the pocket, and he can make it happen with his feet enough, and he can make the throws and be also at times just above it. He can play game management type football at the same time too and hand it off to the back. He was one of those new age quarterbacks. And what we're starting to see is those new age quarterbacks, they're starting to kind of dry up at a younger age. And these pocket guys aren't quite doing that the same way, that whether it's, not taking the hits or what, I don't know. But your athleticism definitely goes quicker. He's only 34, and you started to see it last year at 32 and 33. It was starting to wind down, unfortunately. We'll see if he turns it around. Technically, this is only game 3. They're not out of the playoffs, but I think data says that they have less than a 3% chance historically when you start 0-3 to make the playoffs. I believe it's like 2.6%. So
Yes.
if you're going to make a run, and Russell's going to have to get busy, and they're going to have to get busy in a hurry in an AFC West division that has two other pretty solid offenses and teams that they have to go through for sure.
Right. Right. No, and then we have to touch on it because I've had enough. The Swifties are losing their goddamn minds over Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift dating. In my eyes, this was the smartest move. Travis Kelce, even if he doesn't love her, you literally have went. Every aspect of your life has improved. Your jersey sales are top 4 now. You have 400,000. Top two. You got 400,000 more subscribers on Instagram. Good for you guys. I can't remember the other goddamn thing. But is it a public image stunt, or you think they're actually in love?
Well, I mean, it's certainly an added bonus to get that coverage, but like Travis Kelce in his own right has done quite well for himself, whether it's taking care of business on the football team, for his football team, 2 Super Bowls, becoming one of the best players of all time, not even just tight ends of all time. He's getting up that leaderboard for sure. Both leaderboards, I should add. But yeah, so he's done that. And then he has one of the most successful sports podcasts in the world with his brother. So good for him. He had a reality television show, even though he hated it. People started to know him from that. But not, this is an added bonus. Like I'm not saying they're in love. They've probably been going out for like 3 weeks. You don't love someone after 3 weeks, in my opinion. I think you're kind of weird if you do. And if people disagree with me, that's totally fine. But I think it takes a little bit of time to truly love someone. And I think they like each other. We'll see how it materializes. Neither one of them have the greatest track record with relationships, so something to keep an eye on. I'll tell you what, though, the internet might break in the opposite direction if this doesn't continue to go the way that everybody wants it to go. So that's my 2 cents. Right. I could care less, but
I know.
Whatever.
I could tell you this, Drew, if it is a public stunt, then obviously you brought up the jersey sales and the fame and all that. It's obviously working, and it's working on me too, because I will admit I'm not the biggest Swiftie. I loved her old country stuff when she got into the pop music, her last few eras, so to speak. I wasn't, I'm not a big Swiftie. But now that she's dating Travis Kelce, I can't wait for this next album to come out. And I can't wait for all the songs to be about Travis Kelce, because the internet is having an absolute field day with that. I love the internet. I love the internet for this. And I know, yes, again, Taylor Swift, ex-boyfriends, writing songs about him, low-hanging fruit. But, when you bring it into the world of football, it's actually kind of funny. It's hilarious. I thoroughly enjoy it. But, yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how this turns out for the both of them. I know Donna Kelce and Taylor Swift are now like best buds. Good for those two. I love Donna. She's honestly my favorite Kelce, and T Swift. Good for her. She's getting into football. She probably doesn't know the rules of the game yet, or what even a first down is. But hey, the more football fans, the merrier, I guess. And I know she's bringing a lot of football fans with her.
Yeah. I can just see it now. Roger Goodell's wall just quivering. How happy he is right now with this move happening.
Oh yeah.
But next album, it's going to be on the Billboard Country Hot Hits. Kelce Sucks. That's going to be our next hit. So, anyways, we'll move on here because I don't want to get hit by the FCC for that. Jimmy Garoppolo, concussion protocol hit. You guys saw my post. I was very pissed off about this call. What the hell did they want these guys to do? Last week, you're saying, you broke a guy's leg. He went low. He didn't mean to do it. This week, you're saying he's trying to knock somebody out. It's a routine tackle. Literally, it looked like a tap on the helmet.
Yes.
What the hell do you want the guy to do? I mean,
one thing I want to point out with the Nick Chubb hit, Myles Garrett, who obviously we know his history, he came out and said that wasn't a dirty play.
Right.
When a guy from the opposing team is coming out and saying that's not a dirty play, it's not a dirty play.
Agreed.
Didn't look like a dirty play, and neither did this Garoppolo hit. And I loved it when they brought the rules analyst on there and he said, oh, the initial contact is to the shoulder and he grazed the helmet, but there was helmet-to-helmet contact.
Right.
When I was watching the game, I'm like, yes, I understand why they called this. Do I like it? No.
Right.
But, that's how the game is called nowadays. They're going to protect the quarterbacks. I mean, it's a wonder all these hardcore fans are saying, oh, you might as well put flags and tutus on them because you can't hit them.
Right.
You can't hit them high. You can't hit them low. Where can you hit them? Apparently, you gotta make their bed and tell them a bedtime story before you sack them, or at least according to a little joke Kevin Hart had. It just keeps getting more ridiculous and more ridiculous. And of course, it goes against one of our guys. It goes against Minka, who has never had a track record of being a dirty player. He's been a model citizen, from my knowledge. Not anything going on off the field. And he's obviously one of the best, if not the best, safety in the game as we speak.
Easily.
Yeah. The fact that, Garoppolo ended up in the concussion protocol because of that, I think that's more on Garoppolo's injury proneness than anything. Yeah. Of course, he has a history with all the leg injuries, and I guess he's going to have a concussion history. So it's the guy can't stay on the field. It's kind of sad because he's a really good quarterback, one of the better game managers of today's game. Ran Kyle Shanahan's system to perfection and got the Niners to an NFC championship game and a Super Bowl. So it's a shame to see him go down in that fashion. It's unfortunately, it's just the way the NFL is getting called, and it's only going to, I fear it's only going to get more ridiculous as we go on.
Nate, sir, what do you think?
Yeah, I would just hope that they might be able to review some of these penalties someday. I know that, when they had the pass interference penalties, it slowed up the game. But I'm hopeful that maybe they can adapt to what, European soccer is getting to, and they have like almost instant spots to the booth. I know the NFL is doing that too, with some instant checks to the booth in terms of like scoring plays and yardage and out of bounds and stuff, turnovers. But I would like to see it on some of these plays too. I think that'd be a nice upgrade. I actually disagree with them getting rid of the pass interference calls, overruling those. I think that's pretty bad. You put it in for like a year or two, and then they got rid of it. I disagreed with that. I think look what happened in New Orleans. They got completely screwed. Their franchise history was screwed because of pass interference penalties. So like technically you could have a team, you get a bad call. Think of that Minka call is in an AFC championship game. You get a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down on a third down play. That's terrible. That cost you your season. And you literally did have a helmet-to-helmet hit, but it bounced off of his shoulder and hit him in the face with his helmet. He didn't lead with his helmet. It just happened to be a ricochet. And I'll give credit to the referees, even though maybe if they don't deserve it, you can't see that in fast pace. I mean, goodness gracious. I heard it, and I felt like, initially it was helmet to helmet. It looked like it, the way he went down, the way it sounded. So you can't tell. I mean, goodness gracious, some of these guys' top speed is over 20 miles an hour. You can't freaking see that. You're watching so many things at once. So I'm hopeful that maybe they implement some, additional replays or some additional personnel in New York to review these plays a little bit more timely. But I don't know. We'll see what the NFL decides to do. Probably nothing, especially for the short term. But I see this as a problem that could cost some folks some money and some folks who are playing in this game, a chance to go to make a deeper playoff run or make the playoffs or all those scenarios for sure.
Right. No, I agree with you totally. Soon we'll have drones on the field instead of refs. I mean, I know that day's coming. But anyways, just want to finish up here with hot takes here. I know you guys have some hot takes, and then Nate and Trevor are going to lead the show here, and I'm going to take a break and cough my goddamn head off. But hot take here, I got three of them. One is I think the Saints are fine. Derek Carr is out. I almost said David. I will fuck up every time. Derek Carr is out right now because of the AC joint, which is also something very painful. I didn't realize that until Ryan Clark started talking about it. But Jameis Winston, again, guy, steals crab legs, but I think he's a hell of a quarterback. I don't have any issue. What do you guys think? Do you think they're okay without, Derek Carr for a couple weeks here, or are they screwed?
No, I think they have a good chance for sure. Alvin Kamara comes back off the shelf, from his suspension, got fresh legs in there. So that'll certainly help. And then you got the Swiss Army knife, Taysom Hill, who I don't think anybody's thinking he's going to get mixed in, but I have good faith that he's going to. Fantasy has him as on ESPN has him like under 4 points projected this week. I think he's going to get higher for sure. He's going to get some reps. He's going to get thrown all over the field even more. I think he'll get a higher snap count. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Jameis is capable enough to play a couple weeks. This is an AC joint injury. It's something that it's about pain tolerance. It's a week-to-week injury. And knowing Derek Carr, he's a tough dude. He's played with a broken back. He's played with broken bones and, bad injuries. I think he's only going to miss a few games. But I'll tell you what, if Jameis Winston comes in and sets the world on fire, I don't think Jameis Winston and Derek Carr are that far away in talent perspective, So maybe even if they're paying Derek Carr that money, they just go, hey, let's ride the hot hand. Other teams have done it like San Francisco. And heck, Seattle did it because there was a contest between Drew Lock and Geno Smith. And then Geno set the world on fire. And it was like, all right, this is his job for sure. So if Jameis comes in and plays better than he did last week, maybe he's got a chance to say, hey, well, let's ride with you. We got a good defense. We got Kamara back, and we got some receivers that, they want to stretch the field. So we'll see what happens, though. I don't think they're totally screwed. They got off to a good start, and they got some pieces coming back. So, and they play in a crap division, so that certainly helps them too.
Right.
Yeah. No. Like I said, with the Bengals, obviously for different reasons, but Goose Fraba on the Saints. No, I wouldn't panic at this at all, even though. The 18-point or 17-point comeback against the Packers, proving that Jordan Love might be a superstar after all. Who knows? We'll see. But no, Saints have a top 10 defense, top 10 scoring defense, top 10 yardage defense, top 10 all across the board pretty much on defense. And what do we know about good defenses? They keep teams in games. Hell, we're Steeler fans. We know that all too well. Every Steeler game, we have 5 heart attacks because of how close the game is. Saints fans, probably pretty similar. Games stay close. And like you said, Nate, with the weapons they got coming back, Kamara, of course, they're still going to have Olave out there. They're still going to have Michael Thomas out there. They're going to be just fine. And trust me, Jameis can sling the rock. And with a week of prep with the first team, they'll be just fine for at least a couple weeks. We'll see if Derek Carr gets back. Obviously, I think Derek Carr is a bit more preferable, a little bit more of a veteran presence. And credit to Derek Carr for sticking it out with the Raiders. He finally has a defense.
Right.
Good for that guy. He deserves it.
He deserves a defense, and they have a defense. And quite frankly, Saints, they could make a deep playoff run with the way Derek Carr manages the game. Again, one of the better game managers in the game. And with a great defense, they'll be just fine. That's how you last in the playoffs.
No, I agree with both of you. Second hot take here is the Ratbirds, and I'm calling out all you Ravens fans out there, okay? Because I've literally saw it on every Steelers post that this is your year. This is the year you're going to do it. You got your ass kicked by Gardner Minshew, okay? I know it was only 3 points, but I'll tell you right now, my hot take is the Ravens are not what they thought. The Ravens are not what the people thought they were going to be. Would you guys agree with this?
Go ahead, Nate.
Well, yeah. Of course, I'm breaking up as I go to give this take again, so that's always lovely. But no, doesn't matter. I really didn't think that it mattered too much what weapons you gave Lamar Jackson on the outside. He doesn't throw it well to the outside, and don't think he's really doing so far this season. So it's the same old thing. Their running backs keep getting hurt over and over again. I don't know what it is. It's not the training staff, like I pointed out to on this show a few months ago. That training staff is gone. It's just bad luck. Yeah, they're on running backs 3 and 4 again. more injuries as starting running backs. Lamar's had his share of injuries. But yeah, they got a decent defense. But the thing about the Ravens is they win a lot of close games too. And sometimes that luck runs out. Minnesota was a team that won a ton of close games last year. They're off to a terrible start. And Baltimore did it last year. They won a ton of close games at the end, and their luck ran out. So the thing about Baltimore is if they continue to be hurt and Lamar can't throw it to the outside, they're in trouble. You upgraded at positions that aren't making a difference, and you said this was what was going to make a difference, and it's not. They had a ton of injuries in that game. They had a ton. Like Linderbaum was out at center. Like that's brutal. So let's not act like the Colts are like unbelievable or anything either. But, yeah, that's a tough loss to endure. Justin Tucker missed a kick. Like that's crazy. Even if it was terrible conditions and it was like barely short, like he's had a chance to kick it and win it. They had another chance to kick it with like a 64-yard attempt that maybe he would have hit, but they punted it, gave it back to the Colts. Matt Gay hit his fourth 50-yarder of the day to win the game. So like a lot of luck went on the Colts' way. But I'm with you, DB. I don't think the Ravens are that great. They're middle of the pack. In terms of contenders in the AFC, they're above the middle of the pack in the conference, but they're middle of the pack of contenders in the AFC.
Okay.
Again, I had a good Sunday.
Yes, you did.
I had a good Sunday. And this was part of that good Sunday. God gave me a gift, and that gift was the Ratbirds losing to Gardner Minshew. Everybody's favorite jorts-wearing maniac. I love Gardner Minshew. And he managed the game real well. He did real good. 27-44, 227. Didn't turn the ball over, threw one touchdown. That's all you need against the Ravens sometimes. Right. If Lamar can't sling the ball to the outside and the running backs are getting hurt, they can't move the ball, more lies on Lamar Jackson. And when more lies on Lamar Jackson, he proves that his contract might not have been so worth it. He's obviously hell of a talent and one of the leaders of this new generation of quarterbacks. But there's always been this but. It's a passing league. And he can't pass among the best of them. And for that reason, the Ravens rely on smash mouth football to stay in games, to stay in close games. And like you said, Nate, luck doesn't always favor the defensive in close games.
Right.
The Ravens, are they who we thought they were? They are who I thought they were. Right. But they are not who a lot of people thought they were.
Right.
And I will leave it at that. Will they make the playoffs? In all likelihood, yeah. In all likelihood, their defense is good, really, really good enough to keep them around. Don't you worry. Yep. And Lamar's going to make enough plays, and they're going to win the games that they need to win. They'll probably honestly split with the Steelers with the way the Steelers are this year. They'll make playoffs. Will they do much beyond that? Likely not. Likely.
And then my third hot take is, and I've heard it from multiple people. I've seen Kenny, I've seen Tomlin, I've seen TJ, multiple Steelers. Why are we building up the Texans to the degree like they are one of the best teams in the league? I don't understand this. Like I expect a fucking steamroll this week. Do you guys disagree, or do you see the Steelers laying an egg? I see a blowout. I see like 35-3. Like that's how I feel with the Texans. Okay. Nate, what do you think? That's my third hot take.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. CJ Stroud is that dude. He is off to an unbelievable start to his career. Tank Dell is unbelievable right now. He's pretty dang good in the passing game. And I know their defense isn't phenomenal, but I'll tell you what, we can't take this team lightly because they can get up and down the field quick. They get up and down the field really fast. You cannot underestimate this team. I'm not saying we're going to lose. I don't think we'll lose, but I'll tell you what, if our defense comes out and they're flat, we could be in some trouble because we know how stale offensively we can be. I'm not saying we will be. We can be. We surely know it. I don't forget 2 weeks ago, even if we won this past game and looked a little bit better offensively.
Right.
I'm just saying, if we go out there and CJ Stroud gets 2 quick strikes, we're in some trouble because it's going to be hard to come back. The Steelers are a classic team that has to play from in front or right near the score, the score being tied or just a one possession games. If we get down by 2 scores, we're in trouble. I don't trust this team to come back very much. So, if we get down by 10 or more, we're in trouble. So, yeah, we got to take care of business early, and we need to play the way that we play, which is grind it out and try to take that lead early. That favors us. But I'll tell you what, they come out and they get up 14-0, or they go down and they get a touchdown or a field goal and then take it away or something, we're in trouble. So those are some keys of the game. We can't take this team lightly. Great quarterback play so far. But I'll tell you what, a rookie quarterback facing a Steelers defense, I would be a little bit terrified with that. So I'll also say that again.
Okay.
Yeah, CJ Stroud, and I told this to you, Drew, last night, that he has not played a defense the caliber of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rookie quarterbacks against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very mixed results, and that's being generous. And the good news is Houston is very reliant on their passing game right now. And the Steelers have been defending the pass pretty well so far.
Right.
So even if Houston does get in front, even with our innate ability to not score points at times, I think it'll still be a very close game because Houston doesn't seem like that type of grind it out, let's waste some clock type of a team. They don't have a good enough offensive line or honestly a good enough running back core for that. All respect to Dameon Pierce and what he did in his rookie year. They don't have a running team. That being said, the Steelers, we know how Steelers play down to teams. They're going to keep these types of games close. They kept it close against the Raiders, and we were expecting a little bit more of a gap there. And there was for a little while, but in classic Steelers fashion, Matt Canada's play calling gets stale in the second half, and we're relying on our defense to keep tabs on things. And I will say this too, Presley Harvin had another great game. I think he's earned his keep for this season. Defense and special teams literally had to go 100%, get pretty much everything as close to 100% right as possible these last couple of weeks in order for the Steelers to win. So this game, I can see why people are concerned. I can see why people internally are concerned. And we saw what coming out of the blocks with Big Dick Energy got us. It got us a blowout to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And if we come out like that against Houston, Stroud can carve us up. I watched what he did at Ohio State. I watched what he did in that national semifinal game. That I've been sold on him ever since then. Even though he's an Ohio State guy, of course, I have a lot of issues with Ohio State. CJ Stroud is not one of them. And he could be an issue if he carves up the Steelers this weekend. Do not take this game lightly as a fan and I know the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, he's going to have the boys ready. They're not going to take it lightly internally.
Right. Just to piggyback that real quick, and then I'll let you guys take over. You think TJ, Alex Highsmith, whoever, is getting in the backfield, they rattle his ass a little bit, he falls apart, or is he still just chugging along? What do you think happens there? Because that's also been thrown out there. They smack him in the mouth a couple times, he falls apart. Is that the truth, or do you think because of the play he's had in college and leading into the NFL here, he's prime and ready, or what do you think?
If I can start first, Nate, sorry. There is a lot more weight on the first 5 minutes of this game than there has been in the past 3 games for the Steelers. How are those first 5 minutes going to go? Depends if we get the ball. Depends if they get the ball. What happens? Do they get the ball? We shut them down right away. That sets a tone. Do we get the ball? We grind out some clock. We keep the ball out of their hands. We let our defense do the work, and we actually, call some good plays on defense. Or, call some good plays on offense. Defense is fine. Offense is the issue. Duh. What was I saying? The first 5 minutes. First 5 minutes of the game, ultra ultra important in this one.
Okay. Gotcha. Nate, what do you?
Yeah. So, Stroud didn't get hit a lot at Ohio State. No question about that. I agree with Trevor. You got to set the tone early, get him rattled if you can. The one thing I'll say about him, CJ Stroud, dude is an athlete. He can get out of the pocket. He can roll out and make some throws. He's a little bit more, swift with his feet than Jimmy Garoppolo is, for dang sure. Although Jimmy's a little capable with his feet, but no, Stroud's a better all-around athlete than some of these quarterbacks that we've seen so far. So yeah, and also I will say this: Laramie Tunzel is a pretty dang good tackle to have in front of you. So it's not going to be easy eating for TJ and Highsmith, although they'll get theirs. They will. It's just a part of it. But yeah, no, that's one of the best offensive linemen in the game, and living up to a first-round pick and living up to what should have been the first overall pick if some jackwagon didn't hack that young man's phone when he was going through the draft, and he should have been the first pick, all those years ago, 8 or 9 years ago. But yeah, going to be interesting to see what they can do. If they get to him early, that's a great sign of hopefully setting the tone for the day. But yeah, we got to worry about his mobility at the same time. We can't just get to him and let him escape and escape and escape. They'll take it. They'll gladly take it. So yeah, hopefully we can set the tone early. I think Trevor nailed it with the first 5 minutes for sure.
And that's a good point, Nate, too, about his mobility. The Steelers, we kind of figured out Lamar Jackson, how to at least handle him and make sure he doesn't have too big of an impact on the game. Hopefully we remember how to do that. We haven't exactly dealt with a mobile quarterback so far this season. I know only 3 games.
Right.
But we'll see if we remember how to handle the mobile QBs, which I think we will. I think it'll be a lot. Houston's not going to score 37 points. I know that much.
Okay.
And if they do, we need to reevaluate the defense as a whole.
Absolutely.
But yeah, very good touching on his mobility there. But I think we'll be able to take care of business in that regard as well.
All right. Well, all you beautiful people out there, I hope the Steelers are 3-1. I'm going to let these boys take over, and I'll chime in here and there. And go ahead, boys.
All right, Trevor, would you like to start, or would you like me to get after it?
I'll go ahead here. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll start with this. Michigan State last Wednesday officially fired Mel Tucker. He's Gonzola after alleged sexual misconduct. A complaint was brought forward by Brenda Tracy, a sexual assault awareness speaker. And in a statement, the university said they terminated Tucker for his admitted and undisputed behaviors which have brought public disrespect, contempt, and ridicule upon the university and constitute a material breach of his agreement and moral turpitude. And for that reason, Michigan State is seeking legal action against Mel Tucker, of course, Brenda Tracy seeking legal action for the sexual misconduct, and then Michigan State looking to void the $79 million that is remaining on Mel Tucker's contract. There's a hearing in October to determine the whole sexual misconduct allegations, see if there's merit to that, see what the perhaps civil or criminal consequences are of that for Mel. And then I believe the hearing for the $79 million, that whole dispute, I believe that's going to take place sometime in November. That all according to an ESPN article that I took a look at right before this program started. But it keeps getting worse and worse for Michigan State football. And I don't know if they're going to be able to bounce back for this. Now, obviously, this isn't like a Northwestern situation. This is just one guy, isolated thing. But still, you terminated the contract of one of your better coaches, I would say, of the last 20 years, even though they probably shouldn't have fired the previous coach. Nate, you have a strong opinion on that.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of just a shame. Just a shame for that.
Yeah, Mel Tucker fumbled the bag. That was terrible. hopefully that if that incident did occur, then Ms. Tracy gets justice. Hopefully the school gets justice. Hopefully Mel Tucker will learn his lesson and hopefully have a better life moving forward. Although losing almost $80 million, that's quite humbling, I would believe. I wouldn't know, but I can imagine it is. So, yeah, I do not believe Mel Tucker ever should have been the coach, but that's beside the point. I'll just say I think Mark D'Antonio should still be the coach. He was a legend there. He won a lot of games, been in national championships. He went to the playoff, a lot of winning football there. I think that they were just worried about with NIL and a younger demographic starting to really take over college football. They were worried about him relating to folks, and I understand their concerns. And sometimes the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but you don't know that until you go through it. That's how it happens in life a lot of times. But hey, Mark D'Antonio's back. Hopefully he can help this program get back on track again. They've had a lot of issues with transfers, and they've also hit the transfer portal perfectly in Mel Tucker's breakout season that led to this incredible extension. So I personally like that Michigan State is struggling just from a pure football perspective, but hopefully this university can clean up this stuff and get back to good football and good athletics and clean athletics through their institution as well, because the Big Ten East is better when Michigan State is better, as much as it is nice to just kind of have to worry about the two-headed monster in Michigan and Ohio State from Penn State's perspective instead of the three-headed when Michigan State is good. So, yeah, hopefully they can get everything sorted out, and Mel Tucker can get his act together and learn from this, and the university can kind of go forward and do what they need to do and in football regards and institutional regards too.
Yeah, Trevor, I I agree with Nate with all that, and the show. This program we're all for. People want to act like that. To get the fucking boot or get punched in the mouth, one of the two. So, Mel Tucker, don't let the fucking door hit your ass, okay, buddy? Anyways, that's my standpoint on it. Nate had a little cleaner, more statement for that.
Yeah, that was a little more PC on Nate's part. But
All right.
It is what it is.
He's a jackass. Let's just not sugarcoat it. He's a jackass.
That was kind of the only piece of college football news I had. I have some games to watch. We'll kind of, I guess we'll do that last. But Nate, I know you had some points you wanted to touch on, so you have the floor, good sir.
Sounds good. Yeah. I have a good bit of stuff that we can kind of touch on that kind of goes back to NFL, goes to NBA, and then goes back to college football. Just wanted to bring up something that, I found pretty interesting about that Dolphins win, not to keep burying the Broncos, sorry, Sean Payton and company and Russ and all of you folks, but they became just the second team in NFL history to lose 3 times in their franchise's existence by 50 or more points. They're the only active franchise to hold that title. Found this interesting that NFL inaugural member, the Rochester Jeffersons, who were only in existence from 1920 to 1925, were the other team that lost 3 times by 50 points. So they only played 6 seasons of football, and they lost 3 times by 50 points. And that's why they're probably not an NFL franchise anymore, because you can't keep taking those L's like that and keep coming back. Yeah. And I know that 1920s in the NFL wasn't exactly prime time television, because literally they didn't even have it. And there wasn't a lot of unity in the leagues and stuff of the sort. But just thought that was interesting. That was a nice tidbit from CBS Sports to kind of let the Broncos have another little kick while they're already down and say, well, you're the only active franchise that holds this title of losing 3 times in your franchise's history by 50 or more points. So, yuck. Well, it gets a little worse for the Broncos, and then I'll stop picking on them. They get to play maybe arguably the other worst team right now on paper in the NFL in the Chicago Bears. So this is going to be a battle between an aging, overpaid veteran in Russell Wilson, in my opinion, versus a guy who honestly might be labeled as a bust in Justin Fields. I just want to know who you guys got in this one. It's going to be a barn burner. It's must-see television to see who screws up less. In my opinion, that's going to be who screws up less to win this game.
I tell you, Nate, it's gonna be one of those car wrecks that you know both cars are gonna be totaled, but you can't look away. But in this case, you can actually look away. You can just click, change a channel. And I know in the 1 o'clock window, Bears Broncos is not going to be on my television.
You're lost.
I pray to God.
You're lost.
Actually, no. Actually, the Bills game, that's going to be on my television. That's going to be what's in our region. Thank Christ. Bears Broncos. Wow. The over/under 46. Denver has the spread at 3.5. Oh my God!
I'm going Bears.
Is this going to be like a 13-10 game? Is that what this is going to be?
No, I don't think so, Trevor. Personally, I
No.
don't. What do you think? I mean, I don't know. I don't.
I know these games aren't played on paper, but on paper, Broncos have the better team. At least across the board on offense, they have the better team. Bears don't really have an offensive line. They'll make that Denver defense look good. I'll say Russell Wilson throws a couple touchdowns in a 21-10 win. 21-10.
21.
Wow. If they go from giving up 70-10, that just is a testament to like how
It's
unbelievable.
The Bears.
I know.
It's the Bears.
Is it a testament to how good the Dolphins offense is, or a testament to how poor the Bears offense is, even if on paper they look to have a great offseason with the acquisitions of DJ Moore, settling in with Chase Claypool, and obviously boosting their line on paper even more.
Yeah.
It's not working out. It's unbelievable.
23-17 Bears.
Bears.
I'm going Bears. Let's Ride has died. The Bronco does not want to come out of its can't even fucking think of the word right now. Out of the fence. It doesn't want to come out of the fence. It wants to stay in. It just wants to graze. Doesn't want to run the valleys. Russell Wilson, you can wear the cowboy hat all you want. Let's Ride has died. The Bears are going to tear a nice chunk out of the Broncos' ass, and 23-17. Sean Payne's going to literally rip its fucking headset off and smash it on the ground. I wish there was a plus or minus for that, because I'd take that.
Yes. Oh, I would too. To use your analogy, Drew, and to kind of build on that, Let's Ride is kind of like an old familiar saying from an old Adam Sandler movie. O'Doyle rules. O'Doyle rules. Right now, they're in the car still chanting O'Doyle rules. This is the game before that car slips on a banana peel and falls off the cliff and explodes.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be – what's the game Thursday night that Al Michaels literally, I think, thought of retiring? What game was that? Was it the Broncos and –
Broncos, Colts.
Yeah, it's going to be like that. But I think it's going to be a little more high scoring.
Well, hey, Al Michaels would have retired had, Jeffrey Bezos not written basically a blank check to him.
Right. Yeah, $1 million per episode. Yeah,
makes about $1 million per game. Good for Al.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd take that.
I certainly would.
In a heartbeat.
Yep. I don't care if I'm 70. What else do you got to do on Thursday nights, Al? Really?
It's true.
So
it's true. He works one night a week. He makes $1 million.
Right. And Brock Purdy makes $1 million a year, and he was glad to point that out on the program.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I hope the 49ers pay that man. He deserves it. And Al Michaels does too. He's a legend. So good for him that he's making the bag there from Amazon and Amazon Prime and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't have any reason why. Just a weird instinct that the Bears are going to win. Like I think the Broncos defense is just so run down. And I'll tell you what, like I think there's unity in two things that are going to be featured in this game. There's unity in Justin Fields as a bust now. Like I think that train is on the tracks and it's got some momentum. And I think there's like big unity in like People like to see Russell Wilson lose, which is pretty terrible to say. So I don't know. What do you think people like more, Russell Wilson losing or seeing Justin Fields struggle? I think people like seeing Russell Wilson struggle more, which is pretty messed up. But yeah, I'm going with the Bears just because I think that everybody still kind of thought the Bears were going to stink, possibly, and they are. I don't think many people thought that the Broncos would still suck. Like, I thought that it was just going to be like the flip of a switch. The pieces are there. You still have Russ. He still was like MVP candidate in the past, Super Bowl champion. Should have been a 2-time Super Bowl champion. Thanks, Pete. But anyways, yeah, nobody, I don't think, expected this big of a struggle to start. So, yeah, I'm going to go Bears, tight one, probably low scoring in the 20s. If the Bears defense can wake up at all and do anything, that'll be a difference maker. But I'll say this: the Bears secondary banged up, so doesn't look great for them on that regard. But
just a caveat, real quickly, I would take the over in rushing yards for Justin Fields as well for the betting folks out there.
That's definitely a pick of mine, and that's probably a reason why I would pick the Bears. I think that Fields is going to be able to run, so we'll see what happens there for sure. Yeah, that's one of the first things I want to touch on. I'm done burying the Broncos. I'm done. They're down bad. Let them be down bad for a little bit. Hopefully Sunday they can come and get their first victory. I wanted to touch on somebody that the Steelers saw on Sunday Night Football, and that was Davante Adams. He carved him up. Dude looked unbelievable still, even in his early 30s. This dude's legit, one of the best receivers of all time. But I don't think this guy's happy in where he's at. This Raiders organization right now, they're a mess. Whether it's the coach, the ownership, you got some folks on their team that are going through some personal struggles. And Jones, that's not great to hear that. But there's a lot going on here. His best friend gets traded after 1 year, and he didn't even play a full season with him. They benched him. So I think there's a very high chance that Davante Adams is maybe the biggest trade acquisition of this season. I think it's not out of the woodwork that him or somebody like Mike Evans even too could be traded, especially Evans with a contract year. But I'll start with Davante Adams. They're saying he's unhappy. He's kind of said things publicly too, beating on the bush. But here are some of the teams that make sense for him to go to and seem to be contenders for him, according to multiple sources. The Lions, the Green Bay Packers, which would be a reunion, the San Francisco 49ers, which would be a reunion back to California for Davante, the Dallas Cowboys, which, oh my goodness gracious, if they get Davante Adams in that receiving core, wow. Hopefully Dak doesn't throw picks because, man, there's a lot of guys that would like to catch the ball from you other than the defense, so hit them. Right. And then we have two other ones that are dark horses that are kind of contenders. They're right on the swing of things here. The door is open, but it's closing if they can't get their act together. The Cleveland Browns, although they did have a great showing against the Titans, they could use another upgrade at wide receiver. And the Los Angeles Chargers. This team has a lot of money invested in some of these players. They want to win. And they just lost Mike Williams for the season. And I know that they have Joshua Palmer and they got Quentin Johnson and all these people on the receiving core, but
Keenan Allen's still healthy.
What's that?
Keenan Allen's still healthy as well.
They still got Keenan Allen out there. But yeah, if you have a chance to get Davante Adams and bring him back to Los Angeles area, I'll do it in a second because the Chargers defense may look good on paper with some of the players they have. They are not great as a unit together collectively. So they're going to need to score some dang points. And they can do it, but if you get a chance to get Davante Adams, that's a guy that that's like another 3 to 7 points a game, I think. Like he's pretty different. He's good. So I'm just thinking, what do you guys think? You think he's going to get traded? Do you think anybody else has a chance to get him? Do you think there's anybody that I listed that you think has no shot to get him?
When is the trade deadline, Nate? When is that due?
I believe we're about a little over maybe about 5-6 weeks away. So I believe it's around.
Yeah, I think it's now that I asked the question, I think it's around the end of October.
Yeah.
So they got some time to figure it out, and they got some time to figure out who's going to need what in terms of weapons, and who's gonna bring the best offer forward for this team as they head toward the future, that team being the Raiders. The Niners would make a lot of sense. Another target for Brock Purdy to throw to.
Oh,
Oof. The Chargers, the in division trades pretty rare in the NFL.
right.
I would think they have a good bit to offer the Raiders, but I don't know. It would just be tough sledding in terms of the negotiations with the division rival.
For sure.
I don't really like that. Oh, that's honestly, the 49ers might make the most sense.
Yeah,
might make the most sense. The 49ers, they have a lot of really talented receivers. Obviously, Deebo Samuel, the running back, wide receiver, dual threat right there. Brandon Ayuk is coming on strong. You add Devontae to that core. I mean, Niners fans are already thinking Super Bowl. Yeah, they might become Super Bowl favorites. They get Devontae Adams. Depends what they have to give up. Likely some defensive pieces, but
yeah.
Niners would make the most sense. I'm trying to think of, honestly, any other team that would have a legitimate chance at getting him.
Right.
No, yeah, the ones you listed, Nate. I really don't have. I hate to say it. I don't have much to add to that. Those make the most sense to me. With the Niners being right at the tippy top.
Yeah.
All right. I'd say fuck the Browns first off. They're not. No one's going to want to go there. It's a shithole. I say he rides it out. Okay, this is going to be bold here, Nate, Trevor. Just how it's going, how it's ran. He rides it out this season. Next season, he's for sure the fuck out of there. Reunited with Aaron Rodgers in New York, and takes base pay. He does not give a fuck about the pay. He wants a Super Bowl. He wants to win a ring with Rodgers. That's what I think happens. Because, well, here's the other thing now that I was the whole time, Trevor and you were going, I'm thinking, how fucked are they with Rodgers' contract next season? Because he's going to have to take less money, but I think he wants a quarterback that's going to give him the goddamn stats. So,
yes,
and Purdy, that's a loaded field. Devontae wants to be, kind of the Antonio Brown, but Garrett Wilson there too. That's fucking tough. I don't know. This is what I love about you two guys. You guys get me thinking. I don't know what the fuck to say sometimes. You know what I mean? So, but that would make most sense. Ride it out. Play with Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, this is something that we're probably going to have to keep track of and discuss on a weekly basis.
Oh yeah.
The fact you proposed the idea, Nate. Yeah, I didn't really think about it until today, but it would make a lot of sense. He's very disgruntled with the organization, like you said multiple times. He wants out of there. He wants a ring. He's going to go get one. And quite frankly, like I said, I think the Niners give him the best shot at doing that. If he wants to get out of there, like right now, I could see that. Jets makes a lot of sense too if he rides it out into the end of the season. My money would be on him going to the Niners.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing too, and I don't want to hijack your Nate, but when I'm watching that game, if the passes that Jimmy was fucking off, it's not Devontae's fault. That's timing on Jimmy's part. If those passes would have been completed, Steelers are fucked. I'm telling you that right now. But I'll tell you, the one play that it would piss me off if I'm Devontae as a superstar, that pass over the middle when he gets laid the fuck out, that is a terrible place ball.
Yeah.
You if you're a veteran quarterback, not to throw that against the Steelers. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Throw it against anybody.
Anybody. Yeah, for that matter. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, good points. The Jets on paper make sense. I don't think he would do it for a year. I think that he would really make a mistake of his career if he would ask to get traded to the New York Jets, because Aaron Rodgers might only have 1 year left. You know what I mean? It's possible. And then maybe they depart with him again, or he stays there and they draft his replacement. He's like, okay, let's just do this thing, ride this thing out. But we'll see. It's not impossible. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a great player. They do have a loaded weaponry around in New York on the outside, and Wilson and Lazard and Cobb, who I think is going to be done after this year. other folks too.
Had a great career. Yes.
But yeah, makes sense as well, DB, for sure, that if he would stay put, he could be a New York Jet someday. So
Real quick before we move off this topic there, Nader, I noticed one team you didn't bring up. Any chance he reunites with Derek Carr in New Orleans?
Ooh.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
I just wanted. I figured I knew the answer. I just wanted to ask the question.
That would be flavorful.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Uh-huh.
You know, I think when you have Olave and Michael Thomas and
Yes.
Rashid Shaheed has come on strong, that would be a loaded
New Orleans.
Orleans offense potentially. I mean, it's not probably out of the woodwork, but I don't know, man. Like Derek Carr, I don't think he's that great. Like I think they enjoyed playing together because it's like a brotherhood, but like, do you think he really wants to take that path? I don't know. We'll see. It's possible. I know he was upset that he was gone, but was he more upset from a talent perspective, in his opinion, or was he more upset from a personal standpoint of this guy is going to be here no matter what? We're going to work to figure it out. And they give him 12 games to figure it out. And they're like, all right, that's it. We're done. So I don't know. Maybe some of both. But no, it's a good point. Good point, Trevor.
Yeah.
Somebody else who is coming back that also does not like their organization, and for the right reasons too, is Jonathan Taylor. He could come back week 5, but some sources are saying across the NFL that he still might sit and wait for a trade. Do you guys think he comes back? Do you think he gets traded? What do you think of this whole debacle with Jonathan Taylor and the Colts franchise?
I think that Jim Irsay has proven to be one of the most stubborn men on planet Earth, and I think he wants to make it work with Jonathan Taylor, and I think he's going to try and mend fences. I don't see them making a trade with Jonathan Taylor to anyone else. Plain and simple. I don't really see it as a possibility. And if Jonathan Taylor wants to play, he is going to have to play as an Indianapolis Colt. And he's already proven what holding out for a contract is going to do for you, for a running back especially. So if he wants to get paid and if he wants to play, he is likely, I would say there's about an 85 to 90% chance he is going to have to do it as an Indianapolis Colt.
Here's my opinion. I say we get rid of Naj and go for Jonathan Taylor. But that's not fucking realistic. But I don't know what I don't know what Con. You never know with this fucking guy. But I'll say this. I think Jonathan Taylor's not wearing a Colts uniform next season. No way. I'll tell you right now, that is the one. And again, Nate, I know this is going to be long-winded. That is one of the most horrid organizations in the NFL that has just completely missed. Trevor, we talked about Andrew Luck and added on to Madden. That was bad luck.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the two, I think, most important positions on a football team, you guys have fucked up on. Quarterback, and then you fucked up on the running back. And you piss off the one guy that literally carried your franchise last season, and you just shit on him. Fuck him. Irsay's an idiot. I'm sorry. It's just there's that. If I'm in an organization that shows no loyalty to me, I'm walking. No, that guy deserves more respect, and I'll tell you, a $50 million contract, in my opinion, hands down.
Yeah, he certainly, I think, deserves the money. It's a shame that this is going through, some of Irsay's opinions that he said publicly, did not go well with players, including Taylor. And instead of going to social media and talking about the owner, he went to a private meeting with Jim Irsay and, tried to explain things to him, talk about their life differences, their life experiences being different. And Jonathan Taylor left even worse off than he did going in, which is a shame because from what I can tell from the interviews that I've seen, Jonathan Taylor seems like a very respectful and kind person. What I can tell, very intelligent young man. So that's a shame that this might go down like this. He went from MVP front runner, almost winning the MVP award at running back in today's game, to a disappointing last season because all they did was load the box because Matt Ryan had heavy feet and couldn't move. He looked like a penguin out there. He was flapping away with waddling feet. And now you got this not even playing. They put him on the physically inactive list because he doesn't want to play for him and they can't trade him. So what a downfall. I personally hope that Jonathan Taylor does not suit up for the Colts and gets his wishes and gets moved. I hope that for him because I think that's the best case scenario, that they just cut wind and both the organization and Jonathan Taylor go each way. I would like to see what happens with the running back injuries as we go forward, because there might be some, unfortunately, that teams could get upgrades at. Or a contender might say, you know what, we think Jonathan Taylor can put us over the top. Last year, McCaffrey put the 49ers almost over the top. So, he's probably one of the most dynamic players in the league. But I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to see Jonathan Taylor grind out a football game in December and January. He's used to that from Wisconsin, grinding it out and, getting a boatload of carries. And, if you had him on your team, that's not something I want to see for sure. So that's my personal opinion on Jonathan Taylor. I hope things work out for both parties, but Jim Irsay, that's unfortunate that even had to happen. He doesn't have the greatest track record, and I'm not surprised, unfortunately, with him.
No, just to throw in one more statement, Nate, that's could be controversial, and that's all right. We enjoy that. Irsay believes in franchises wins, championships. I don't agree with that at all.
Yep.
And that's stemmed in other sports, and I'm not going to go down the list, but I really just I don't like him. I do just the way you went about it.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Sorry.
I'm with you. I totally agree with you. It's franchises can certainly help win it. Like right now, I think the way that the Steelers organization is run, the franchise is carrying that because it just puts a different expectation out there. I don't think we're the most talented team on paper, and there's been plenty of years. The last 5 years it's been that way too.
Right.
But we haven't won the Super Bowl. And if you go to the teams that have, they've had the best players most often than not, or the guys that are hottest at the right time for a 6-week stretch.
Yeah.
So I'm with you, DB. I like that take for sure.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Los Angeles Rams. I know that they got their butts kicked on Monday Night Football, but I'll tell you what, this offense, as much as we thought that this team could struggle, holy man, their offense looks pretty good. And they just traded their starting running back away from week 1, which is crazy. So let's go through the list of who they're going to get back once Cooper Kupp gets back on the field in week 5. And by the way, he's probably coming back week 5, which is not something I'd want to see. So we got Puka Nacua, who has the most catches in the first 3 games of an NFL career of all time. And he had a measly game with like 7 catches and 70-plus yards on Monday Night Football. And like a down week. Measly. Great. Unbelievable. We got Van Jefferson, who is a great deep threat. He's a great, great player. Knows his role. I mean, to have him as your 4th receiver, I'd take that any day of the week. You got Tyler Higbee in the middle, offensive captain, a veteran tight end presence that just hits the soft spots in the zone, has a little bit of a verticality to his game, can get up the field a little bit for a tight end. You got Kyron Williams, who you're paying pennies to. You're paying pennies to this guy. He's a pass-catching back. Although him and Matthew Stafford were not on the same page last week. They just couldn't catch a freaking pass and connect on it together. But, yeah, this guy's dynamic. He's good in the pass game. He can run. That's a great option. You got Tutu Atwell, who's a freaking speedster. He can get up and down the field. He's great. He come out of the slot and go across the field and just kind of work with Stafford as he rolls out. And you can hit him on those sort of drag routes and short routes. And then, of course, you got Cooper Kupp, all-world receiver. I mean, almost an MVP guy when he hasn't even played a snap yet. So a couple years ago, you got Odell Beckham Jr. and all these guys on your offense, and here you go. They're revitalized like that because Sean McVay just keeps plugging away and finding guys, even if they don't even seem like they're going to be that great. So what do you think on this revitalized in some regards, pass catching assortment that the Rams have here. And is this just another testament to McVay's genius here?
Sean McVay, one of the greatest football minds of our generation, if I do say so myself. In spite of the fact that the Rams are trading away every first-round pick that they have for the next seemingly 30 years, they're still finding guys like Puka Dam Nakua, who set the rookie record for receptions, rookie record for receptions in a game last week. I believe he had, what did he have, Nate? 15, 17?
15. And he was targeted 20 times.
Yes. A guy that came out absolutely – I don't even know what round the guy was drafted in. That's how prepped I am.
Fifth round
pick. Good God almighty, man. I mean – the biggest problem with the Rams game right now is Matthew Stafford throwing the ball to the other team. I believe he had 2 picks on Monday night.
He wanted to have more, but
I know he wanted to have more. I watched the game.
Right.
About 3 receptions went through Bengals secondary's hands.
Yep.
But yeah, these Rams they got a high ceiling per the usual. And as long as they got Aaron Donald on defense, they'll be able to keep up. They actually did pretty well against an albeit injured Joe Burrow, obviously dealing with a calf injury there. But the Rams, again, I think San Francisco is obviously still the favorite coming out of the NFC West, probably one of the favorites coming out of the NFC. But can the Rams sneak in with a wild card and maybe make some noise toward the end of the season? Absolutely. Absolutely they can do that. Like I said, Matt Stafford has just got to stop throwing the ball to the other team. And they finally got a running back that fits their system in Kyren Williams. He's a great pass catcher. He's a very compact guy. He can bowl you over, or he can line up in the slot and catch passes. And by the way, that guy went to Notre Dame. Just a thought. Just a thought there.
Yeah.
Limitless potential for this Rams offense, especially with Kupp being back, all world. He'll come back. He'll be good as new, which, I mean, albeit will lessen Puka Nakua's fantasy appeal, but still, to have Cooper Kupp go down and then have this rookie stud come in and catch 15 passes, and you're 1-3 in some close, or you're 1-2 in some close games, Rams will be just fine. The 20 Los Angeles fans that attend every game have nothing to worry about.
No, Nate, I'm excited for him to come back week 5. It's been a hell of a time.
Yeah.
But no, I have to say this, and I kind of kept it quiet during our little off-season projections and shit. After seeing the Rams play, they're my dark horse. Okay, they're doing okay without probably one of the best wide receivers in the game. He comes back week 5. I think he rejuvenates that fucking offense. Watch the fuck out. That's all I got to say. Rams, they're going to be on a tear.
Right.
They're going to blow you right in the head with their freaking horns. I'll tell you that right now.
Yep. NFC's wide open. I know that the Eagles and 49ers and Cowboys obviously leading that charge, but the Rams have a good chance to get in there amongst the wild card for sure, like Trevor said. I want to talk some hot takes. I wanted to give a couple of mine as well here. I've pretty much touched on it, and I think I said it earlier. I think this is Russell Wilson's last season as a Denver Bronco. I think they cut bait with him and they move on. I think it's just holding up their organizational growth. You're wasting the prime of seeing some phenomenal receivers that they have. And you can allocate that money towards the defense. I understand they're going to have to pay him.
Yes.
I know they're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to keep paying him. But if they can do anything, to minimize that, even if they can do the stinking Bobby Bonilla and push it off and pay him for 1,000 years, do it. It's worth it. Team can get better now for sure. They're going to be in trouble for a few years, though. I really don't think there's any way to sugarcoat that. And he lost a lot of picks. They paid a ton of money. But I think if you can cut bait with this guy quick, do it. I personally think. So I think this is his last season as Denver Bronco. I also think this is Justin Fields' last season as a Bear. I believe it's his 4th year. I don't think they're going to pick up that contract for that option. I think they're going to let him go into the wasteland that NFL free agency is. And honestly, I don't think we've seen the last of Justin Fields, but I think that his career is maybe spot starter and splash player. Maybe make some noise with his feet, play and some trick plays and stuff. But yeah, I think this guy's about done. I really think so. Doesn't look great. Can't read a defense. Doesn't keep his head downfield. And if you can put him in the pocket, he just holds on to the ball. He doesn't throw it away. He doesn't just throw it to throw it. He's content with just getting smacked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's in trouble with his career with the Bears. I also got to say, Jared Goff, I know he didn't have the best game last week, but he is one of the most underappreciated and underrated players in the league right now. If you look at his efficiency, you look at his stats, this dude's steady, man. He's pretty good. Great way to start this season. Beats Patrick Mahomes coming off a Super Bowl. He's really set the world on fire last year, and I think he's going to continue to do so this year. They're one of the favorites in the NFC as well. Like I said, coming off kind of a disappointing offensive output from last game, but I really like where Jared Goff is. I really think that this guy is right on the cusp of someone that can lead you to a Super Bowl championship. He might get one by the end of his career. I really think so. That there's a very good chance with him. Now he's with the Lions, and I know that sounds insane, but he's been to one. He's been in the playoffs before, and this is a guy that I'm okay with leading my team. I think that Jared Goff is sometimes overlooked for sure. So I wanted to give him a shout out in this episode, and I want to open the floor to this one. Mike Evans, continuing a hot offensive year. You're welcome, Drew Billy, for trading him to you. I needed to do something at quarterback. I got Joe Burrow. Doesn't look great so far, but I gave you Mike Evans and Miles Sanders, and you cut bait with Sanders and Christian Watson. I also gave you, and he hasn't played yet. So too early to determine who won that trade. But I'll say this. I'll say this. Mike Evans off to an amazing start, is in a contract year, and this dude looks ready to play football. He looks fantastic, even for being in his early 30s. I would not want to see him lined up. He is just catching everything. He's making play after play. He's getting some routes and getting hit on routes that he would run for 2 years with Tom, that Tom wasn't getting him the ball in, which is, I'm not taking a shot at Tom Brady, but he wasn't getting the ball in some of these situations. And Baker's at least throwing it out there, whether it's stupidity or luck or just seeing it. I don't know. Something is going right. But I'm going to say this. I think the Buccaneers party is crashing. They got exposed on Monday Night Football. And I think Mike Evans is going to get traded this season. I really do. I think he's another guy that they're not going to keep him. They already said they're not keeping him. And the Bucs fans are pissed. But a major guy that can upgrade and a big splash for your team. So I'm declaring it now. I think Mike Evans gets traded. If he does, where do you guys think he lands? And do you agree with me?
I was going to say, Nate, I will build on your take there. Mike Evans in the next 2 weeks will be a Kansas City Chief.
Whoa!
Oh,
Breaking news!
Oh.
Holy shit!
Oh,
That might be one of the most.
I could see
Kansas
it though.
City Chiefs.
God, I could. Absolutely.
Wow!
The Chiefs need a true number one receiver.
Absolutely.
Obviously, their offense is going to be just fine. Regardless, it's going to be just fine. But it might be up and down. They only scored 17 points a couple weeks ago. And they, of course, they come back. They hang up, 40 on the Bears? But that's the Bears.
Right.
That's the Bears. Wait until, they get against these good man-to-man type of defenses. It's going to be a little tougher. They're going to need a guy who's going to go up and get the ball. And we know Mike Evans can go up and get the ball. He's making Baker Mayfield look good, okay?
Absolutely.
Right.
He will be a Kansas City Chief within a few weeks.
I can see it. I like the pick.
Well, God damn it. I hope that doesn't happen.
Me too.
I mean, that would be cool.
I never said I wanted it to happen. It's just going to.
I agree. I'm with you, man.
His fantasy points goes up. That's cool. Now I got to look at their fucking bye week, and that's going to fuck with my head. But anyway,
DB, who really wins the trade then if he goes to the Chiefs? But who wins the trade between you and?
Well, now
Don't
this is
guarantee anything.
This is where I'm nervous, okay? And there's a lot of Nate's takes I want to comment on. Justin Fields, I want to say first, he's going to be in the Cardinals uniform next season.
I don't think so.
They're gonna plug him in like Marcus Mariota did in Oakland. I feel like they're gonna do some trickery because that offense is fucked. That might be bold, but I don't know. They love mobile quarterbacks all of a sudden, and they don't really have a backup for Kyler, so why not throw a young buck in there? And Kyler might fucking fuck up, but they give him all that money. So it's a total shit show. Who else did we throw in there, Nate? Russell Wilson.
And Russell Wilson.
Yeah, Russell Wilson. He's Trevor. What did we say last night?
Washed, I believe.
Washed, but what's he going to do? Sign a 10-day contract with the Seahawks.
With the Seahawks, retire Seahawk. Yeah,
retire. Yeah,
and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Gave the Seahawks a lot of great years. Obviously, a Super Bowl. Right. But yeah, right now he's.
And
he's crapping his pants in Denver. So
I see Mike Evans going to the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. That's another good fit.
Yep.
He's a Southern kid, went to college at Texas A&M with Johnny Football. Mm-hmm. So going back to good old Texas makes some sense too. I can't disagree with either take for certain. I'll tell you what, maybe the Chiefs are someone that could get Devonta Adams too. They weren't on my list, but I'll tell you what. But like Trevor said, trading in the division makes it unlikely. So,
right,
we'll see. We'll see.
Jerry would open his fucking arms to Mike Evans, though.
I would too.
Everything going on down there, he'd enjoy the shit out of it. Hey, Mike, you come on down here. You sign this contract right now. Don't listen. We'll have the cowgirls out there with the pom poms right when you get off that jet. You'll be welcomed with opening arms, buddy. So wouldn't that be something? Holy shit.
Are you Jerry Jones or Brian Kelly?
Jerry Jones. I'm sick. I can't do a good Texas accent. Previous episodes, like episode fucking 10, I was on point, man. When I was talking about chicken fingers and Mike McCarthy and all that shit. Oh my God.
Oh my God, man.
All right. I'm done with the hot takes. The hot takes. I want to move on to NBA. There was two pretty big moves, and obviously people are going two. Oh no, I think there was a really good second move that everybody's kind of forgetting about. So we'll start with the obvious one. Damian Lillard is a Milwaukee Buck, just like we all expected. No, we did not. But I'll tell you what, Giannis Antetokounmpo is one happy camper, and his brothers probably are not, because their time in Milwaukee's probably up, because this guy, he don't want any of these brothers and family affairs. He wants to win a title. Let's get some guys on this team that can win. And that's what they're starting to do. So to go through the specifics of this trade, it was a pretty good one. I personally think it was a good and fair trade for all parties. It was a very interesting one to say the least. Damian Lillard is the only person that goes to Milwaukee. So we'll start that out. But, Grayson Allen gets shipped off to the Phoenix Suns to give them some depth. And then you have people like DeAndre Ayton and Drew Holiday go up to Portland to kind of give them some leadership in a team that's rebuilding. And then there's a few other folks that kind of get thrown in there in the shuffle. What do you guys think about this trade? What do you think about the Bucks being contenders? Does this help the Phoenix Suns? And what do you think this does with Portland other than just get rid of a disgruntled superstar?
Tell me again, Nate, what all did Phoenix get out of the situation? What all did they get again?
Well, I would tell you, but my Twitter that I had planned is all goofed up.
Okay, no worries. I have it right here. The Suns, they got Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson. Honestly, Grayson Allen, Keon Johnson, two kind of underrated assets in that whole ordeal. Then Portland getting a couple draft picks and some swaps out of that, along with Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, and Toumani Camara, I believe is how you say that guy's name. And, of course, the lone asset, like you said, going to Milwaukee. You alluded to the fact that he probably wasn't going to go to Milwaukee. A buddy of mine texted me right before the show saying mocking an exchange between Damian Lillard and his agent saying, I want to go to MI being Miami, but Milwaukee just said, hold my beer. Come on over here. Come on over here. Let's go win a championship.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And quite frankly, they almost have to be the favorites in the East now, right? They have to be.
Well, they were maybe arguably anyway, and certainly this helps.
They might have been. They might have been, along with the Celtics up there.
The Heat.
And the Heat. And yeah, imagine that guy went to the Heat. Although I don't know how well he would have played ball with old Jimmy Buckets. I don't know.
Sure.
Well, I guess we'll never have to know, because he's now going to be a Buck. He's going to be tossing it up to Giannis, and Giannis is going to be slamming the ball through the hoop a bunch of times, and Milwaukee's going to be blowing a lot of teams out en route to maybe another championship run.
Right.
As weird as it sounds, Milwaukee won this trade, hands down. They get a generational talent who has meant the world, the absolute world, to Portland for the better part of a decade, or over a decade, actually. Countless
Almost
playoff moments. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Countless moments, buzzer beaters. Guy scores 25 points a game while he's there. It's insane. Obviously, the insane buzzer beater against, I believe it was the Rockets, that he sunk it from that half-court three.
Yep.
Yeah. He did this. He did this. Bye-bye. Yeah, even though Lillard, 33 years old, still got a lot of game left. Milwaukee won this trade. Hands down, and everybody got what they wanted. Portland gets a chance to rebuild. They get some veterans on their roster. And the Suns, I don't know, I guess they get DeAndre Ayton off their books, and they get a couple of good replacement pieces for that. How well they're going to be complementary to the rest of that roster, we'll see. That remains to be seen. West is a little bit more wide open than the East at the present moment, but I don't know how you don't pick Milwaukee to go win a title now.
Yeah.
I definitely have Milwaukee going. I have to say this, Nate, Trevor, you got both are knowledgeable in the NBA world. What the fuck is it with the Portland Trail Blazers and big men? They have to have that big man, dude. Like they have to. Yeah. I was like, right before the show, I was just like, I'm thinking they have to always have the big man, LaMarcus Aldridge, Bill Walton. Sam Boyd, that didn't work out, but you know what I mean. But you know what I mean, though. Like it's they are stuck in that time period, and I personally, Milwaukee won won the trade, and I think they're going to win a championship. I loved it, Trevor.
And just an FYI on Lillard too. In his age 33 season, by the way, he only played 58 games, dealt with some calf ankle issues, in addition to Portland, taking him off the court while they were out of a playoff race, preserve him for exactly what transpired this afternoon.
Right.
Averaged 32 points and 7 assists last season. Most 33-year-olds don't do that.
I guess my only thing. I got two questions for both of you. One is are we going to have a Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving situation in Milwaukee, though?
No.
Big dick energy between the two.
No.
Okay.
And here's why.
Okay.
You have two primary ball handlers with Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, two guys that need to be the center of their offense.
Right.
Kyrie has proven that over the years, and Luka has proven that he can carry the Magic by himself.
Matters.
I mean, yes. Right. He hits step back threes from 40 feet. It's absolutely stupid how good Luka is.
Right.
In Milwaukee, you have a guy that can play 3, 4, or conceivably 5 in Giannis. Right. And he can guard all those positions too, just an FYI, but he doesn't need to be the primary ball handler. Drew Holiday was the primary ball handler when he was on the court, and Giannis was on the court at the same time. So, no conflict whatsoever. Are they going to be growing pains? Naturally. It's going to take a little bit for a couple stars like that to mesh, get used to each other, get used to their new environments and all that good stuff. But no, I don't think we're going to have an issue. And just to, again, point out how talented Damian Lillard is. Portland failed to make the playoffs second year in a row last year. That was the first time in Damian Lillard's tenure that's happened. He has single-handedly carried that team to prominence. Well, I shouldn't say single-handedly. He's had some pieces like McCollum along the way, but as single-handedly as you can carry a team, he did.
I just like to see the futures, Trevor, right before that trade happened for Milwaukee to win a championship and to the now. That would be very interesting to see. I mean, I can look it up, but yeah, we'll probably.
In all honesty, it might not have affected it terribly much.
Okay.
Just because Milwaukee might have been a favorite coming in already with the pieces they had coming back and the pieces that were involved in that trade.
Right.
But I tell you what, Drew, I got to look at this now too, see what the odds are on Milwaukee winning a title here. But yeah, we can continue on.
Nate, yeah, hell of a points, Nate. Jesus, on fire tonight.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I'll say this. I'm going to say this. I'm going to chime in real quick.
Yeah.
Milwaukee just traded away their best perimeter defenders to get Damian Lillard. So I'll say that. So if you're going to look at this Bucks team, don't crown them yet. They have more work to do. They have to go get perimeter defenders and wing defenders that can help guard. Because I'll tell you what, Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo can guard, but Damian Lillard ain't going to be able to guard by himself out there at the point guard position. They're going to need some guys that can lock down. So that's where I see this team being weak. I'll tell you what, nobody's driving on the Bucks. Not many people are going to be driving in there. They're not. They're going to be pretty freaking stacked. Let's talk about who they have. So maybe I'm underestimating this perimeter defense a little bit because they still have Malik Beasley, Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder, as well as Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton to guard. So that's not bad. That ain't bad.
Nate, real quick, where did Pat Connaughton go to school again?
Notre Dame.
Thank you.
Notre Dame baseball.
Had to plug it.
Beasley, he's scrappy though. But
they can have him. I'll gladly not see him in a Lakers uniform. I'll tell you that. Anyway, let's not underestimate the Suns' value in this trade. I know that nobody's thinking this, but let's look at who the Suns have. You cannot forget that they got Bradley Beal this offseason. You can't forget they got Kevin freaking Durant during last season. Kevin freaking Durant. KD, the Slim Reaper, even if he doesn't like to be called that.
Right.
This dude can play the game. He is tough. And don't forget they got Devin Booker already. And that's just the star power. Let's kind of look at the depth. So instead of DeAndre Ayton, you got Joseph Nurkic, if he can freaking stay healthy for once.
Oh, Jesus.
He ain't bad to fill in. And then you got Bol behind him. So you got kind of a mixed bag of guys who haven't stayed healthy but have a lot of upside when they are healthy. And then let's look at some depth on the wings, which is exactly where they were susceptible last year in the playoffs.
Yes.
They have Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, Josh Okogie, Yuta Watanabe, and Nasir Little and Damian Lee and Drew Eubanks and Keon Johnson. They have a few other players, but those are the guys that people know. That's pretty good. That's pretty dang good. I'm looking at that as a Lakers fan and going, oh, brother, this sucks.
Yeah.
This sucks. I hate that. And they're in our division and they're in our conference, and I freaking hate that. You know? I don't want to do that. And as much as I hate to say it, getting rid of Chris Paul was the best thing they could have done.
Yeah.
It's the best thing they could have done. And I'll chime in on Portland briefly. Drew Holiday will not be a Portland Trailblazer. They're already working on a buyout. Miami might get their point guard after all. That's the top landing spot. That's the top landing spot.
I did not know this. I did not know
this. Mix Drew Holiday and Kyle Lowry at the point guard spot with Jimmy Butler, and maybe they don't have to depart with Tyler Hero anyway, like they thought they were going to get Lillard. So you just run it back. Maybe you get a plug-and-play guy like Drew Holiday who can freaking defend like Jimmy can. You got Bam Adebayo on the backside. That's a pretty good team too. So I'm looking forward to this NBA season coming up. A lot of contenders again. A lot of teams with a lot of talent. You got a few super teams, but it's ain't all about super teams anymore.
No.
A few stars with depth. And depth has to come on the perimeter defensive side. That's the key. You can't have guys that just score and score and score. You got to have these grunt players, these grinders. You got to have the Grayson Allens. You got to have the Josh Okogis. You got to have the Eric Gordons. You got to have the Pat Connaughtons of the world. You have to have that. So all teams kind of got their fix, got their fill. I think this opens the door for Scoot Henderson to be Rookie of the Year for sure. Like I said months ago that it was going to happen. So I'm still sticking with that. Primary ball handler. He's got the lob guy with DeAndre Ayton, who has mostly stayed healthy during his career. So good trade by everybody, in my opinion. Although, look at a quick look, Milwaukee got their guy to keep Giannis happy. That's a great thing.
Yes.
Pretty good thing.
Yeah.
And just a side note on the betting side of things, obviously Bucks are favorites, win the NBA Finals at plus 360. Then obviously the favorite to win the East plus 150. And the Suns actually are the favorite to come out of the West at plus 270, right ahead of Denver at plus 310.
Where are the Lakers at there, Trevor?
Third at plus 750.
Oh, lovely.
Fuck, put it in now. Put it in
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I'm just fucking with. Don't do it. Don't
No,
do it. People.
I wasn't planning on it.
No.
So that was the first trade. Don't you guys forget I said 2 trades happened or 2 acquisitions happened today.
Yes, sir.
Oh wait, Nate, you can actually count, unlike Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, I am not a math guy, but I learned to count to 2.
Good,
So-
because Marcus Freeman can't count to 11 apparently. Go ahead.
And I can count to, I believe it is 17, and that is how many seasons Rudy Gay is going to play in the NBA. Because Rudy Gay signed a 1-year deal to jump on the Golden State Warriors bandwagon.
Oh wow.
And nobody is going to talk about this, but I'm telling you what, it's something to be concerned about, and not from a personnel perspective of who's getting in the game. Sure, he helps their depth. Sure, he helps their leadership. Rudy Gay is a nice player, even if he is in his upper 30s now.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm concerned about is the Rudy Gay curse that follows him. You guys are aware, but Rudy Gay has never won a playoff series in almost 20 years in the league.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Won 5 playoff games in his career.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And think about who he's played with. The Spurs, the freaking Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, the Toronto Raptors. I mean, he's played for good teams. He just hasn't won. Is it all his fault? No, but does he carry the stigma? Sure, the GM isn't looking at it, but I see that. And if I'm Mike Dunleavy, I don't know, man. Is that a red flag? I don't know. First year GM, I don't know, man. See how we're starting out here, Mike. I don't know, man. We'll see. Golden State's in the mix, but don't be surprised if there's a first-round exit for these Warriors. And they'll have Rudy Gay to kind of be like, man, this guy's our black sheep, but it isn't his fault, is it?
I love it. I love that shit.
Right, you heard it here first, folks. Right
Love
here on Buckle Up with the Boys.
That I have
Golden
not
State
seen
Warriors,
that. Talk
Golden
about.
State Warriors first round exit.
Put it in now. Playoffs, first-round exit. And guess what? Golden State.
Trevor, what's their plus?
To win the West, or Golden State, they're right behind the Lakers, plus 800.
Okay, I would. Yeah, fuck yeah. They're not.
Very possible to see them one and done. Very possible this is Klay Thompson's last season with the organization.
Ooh.
Think about this. Stephen Curry will be late 30s after this year. He's already mid-30s. Draymond Green, mid-30s.
Yes.
How long can they keep doing this? How long can they keep sustaining this? Really? I mean, come on, guys. I from a pure basketball perspective, I hope they do it for forever. But I personally, as a Lakers fan, I hope they finally crumble. I don't want them to be out of the league, but I want them to break up.
Right.
Tired of it.
And you know the one thing I can't wait for is and I'm going to call out Warriors fans that became Warriors fans after Curry's first championship. What team are they going to pick next? You know what I mean? When Patrick Mahomes is done, who the fuck are you guys going to pick?
don't think we're going to have to worry about Curry or Mahomes. It's going to be the supporting cast, the Draymond Greens, the Klay Thompsons of the world, and
Can they do it with
company?
Right.
Come
so
on,
let's say right.
those guys.
Let's just say this. So let's say the Warriors, they're under construction next season. Okay. So Clay leaves. Where's Draymond at with contract wise?
Just gave him what did they give him 4 years, 100 or 100 mil?
3 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. Yes. Yeah.
I think they missed
might be 110, 120, but 4 years. I know that for a fact.
Nate, I think they missed. I think it's, like a fucking, hate to bring football into it, but like the Pittsburgh Steelers, let's ride with Ben. And then when Ben's done, when Curry's done, or, one of the key guys leave, they're fucked. I think the Warriors are going to be just like the Indiana Pacers with Reggie Miller for Curry's last seasons. They're just going to be mid. He's going to be a good player, but they're not going to have the pieces, and they're going to go to shit. We just lost 5 years, and I really don't give a shit because I'm telling you the truth. I'm going to be honest with you. You guys disagree with that? They haven't really drafted or made moves to. You bring in fucking 38-year-old Chris Paul, Rudy Gay.
They got what they wanted, and Warriors fans got what they wanted. That is a dynasty that will be remembered
forever,
long after we're gone.
Right.
Sure. Long after those players are gone, long after we've moved on from this generation of basketball and the next and the next and the next.
Right.
When you think of all-time great dynasties in sports history, Golden State Warriors of the 2010s are going to be on there, man. And the 2010s, 2020s, they're going to be on there, and they deserve to be for sure.
Okay.
What they're going to do is they revitalized the game. They changed the game. Nobody shot threes like that before.
No. I guess, would you compare whenever this dynasty does end to maybe the Chicago Bears in the 90s? Or Chicago Bulls of the 90s? Like they're just going to be it's going to be a couple of years, maybe 10, 20 years, and then
absolutely they rival them. They're not as good, but they rival them. They rival the 60s Celtics, the 80s Lakers, 80s Celtics, 90s Rockets when the Bulls were down. Those are definitely all in that same category for sure. 2000s Lakers again with Shaq and Kobe.
Yes.
They're all in that same conversation. Now, the Bulls are and those 60 Celtics are the best for sure.
Of course.
Right there. Right there, 100%.
Yes. Okay. I to kind of counter your point, Drew, I don't think you can compare it to the Bulls and just per this one reason and this one reason only. That is Jerry Krause purposely tore that Bulls team apart before they were ready to be done.
Yeah, they had more. They had a little more.
Yeah, they definitely had. I think they had a couple more years. I think they
think two championships?
One or at least one more. At least one more. I think they had another one in them. But this Warriors team is going to fall apart not because the ownership wants them to, just because it's naturally just going to happen.
Father Time, undefeated, man.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm going to throw out a hot take here. And God, here's the sickness coming on me again. I'm fucking struggling with Klay Thompson. If he doesn't get hurt, how much do you think that limited years? Are we talking 3-4 years that he lost there from that injury?
About 2.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing, yeah.
Okay.
Probably a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay. Just it cut his career short. I mean, that's a sad reality of the business.
Yeah.
But
it is. Yeah. But hey, he will be remembered along with his running buddy, one of the greatest shooters of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
Scotty to like Michael and Scotty, not even fucking close, but Batman and my Robin, you know what I mean?
They're right there with some of the all-time great duos.
Right.
Yes.
They're right there. Sure. So, all right, a couple things to kind of wrap up. I know we're almost at it, 2 hours, but we've been having a pretty good episode. I'm just going to throw out some of these matchups for the NFL and see what you guys think, who you taking in some of these matchups. So, if my computer would freaking work. All right, Lions, Packers, who you guys got?
I just put this bet in. I went.
What's your bet, buddy?
Hold on here. Fuck me. Sorry, Nate.
Well, yeah. While you're saying that, I'll say Lions by field goal.
I'm going Lions
Lions
too.
by field goal.
Lions all the way.
Yeah, I think the Packers, they're not going to have like an emotional low game after that comeback. But short week, rookie, essentially a rookie quarter, or first year as a starter.
Yeah.
Lions have a little bit more experience on their side at the quarterback position and elsewhere. I think they take care of business, but because it's a divisional game, Lions by 3.
If you're looking for a confident bet out there for the sports bettors out there, and I'm going to make this a promo, I say that to myself so I know where the hell to fucking cut it off so I can put it on there. Detroit Lions money line, St. Brown 40+ yards, Lions 2.5 spread all day.
There you go.
That's an easy $5 bet. Walking out with 22. Take it all day.
All
I
right.
like it.
Easy money.
Falcons at Jags in London, 9:30 a.m. sharp. I know I'm going to be watching, but who do you guys got?
The Jags have this weird way of winning in London.
Heck yeah, they do. It's their home away from home, baby.
It's their home away from home. If they're going to take an NFL franchise and plop them over in London, they might as well do it with the Jaguars. I think they're going to win again. Spreads at 3 on that one. It's going to be close, but I think they have a bounce back game. I'll throw out a score prediction. I'll say Jags. I'd say 23-16. Sounds right.
I'm going to cue moves like Jagger. I think that the Bills have jet lag, and Jaguars get the upset here. Yeah.
Bills have jet lag?
Yeah.
Playing the Falcons, buddy.
Fuck up. Here we go again. Here we fucking go
Yeah,
get my bet. Yeah, the Falcon. No, that's a cakewalk. Fuck that. I mean, actually, I just to piggyback that. Yeah, they're going to beat the Bills still, but Falcons. Yeah, that's going to be a steamroll all day. I take them for -4 spread.
I'm going Jags. Jags in London. I like it.
Jags
I apologize.
Rams Colts. Interesting matchup there.
Rams Colts.
Ooh. And to your point, Nate, the line is even on that. There isn't even a spread.
I believe that 100%.
That is dicey. That is dicey.
I go 6.5. I go 6 Rams.
I was thinking the same thing, perhaps a little bit closer just because it's a home game for the Colts. I'll say Rams by 4.
Yeah. Easy.
I agree, Trevor. I was thinking Rams by 3. I think Anthony Richardson is coming back, coming off an emotional win.
Yes.
But I think the Rams are ready and due for a bounce back game against a okay Colts team that's coming off they thought was a good performance. But yeah, I think I'm going to say Rams in a close one. I think the Rams will have a bounce back game. Browns Ravens, good AFC North battle. Should be a tough one in the trenches for sure.
Can they just cut the power at the stadium?
Hope you guys tie.
Yeah,
You got,
I was gonna say, can that game end in a tie with a 0.5% chance it has of being a tie?
You got a piece of shit at the quarter. Actually, you got 2 pieces of shit on the team, and then you got a whole team of pieces of shit in the shitbirds. Quoting Mr. Leahy there.
A shitstorm is coming, DB. Here comes the shitstorm.
I want the Browns to win because I know the Steelers can beat the Browns. I want the Ravens I want the Ravens to lose every divisional game they have. So I'm going Browns at 2 spread.
Let me see here. How did the Browns blew out the Titans last week. I think they have a bit of a wake-up call against the Ratbirds. Obviously, I'm picking with my brain here and not my heart. Ratbirds.
Oh.
I said I'm picking with my brain and not my heart, DB. Quit pointing to your heart.
Getting a heart attack over here.
I'm picking Ravens too, DB. I'm going to pile on you right now. I'm going Ravens too. It actually would favor us if the Browns would go on to beat the Ravens, I think. Well, actually, no, it would favor us. Either way, just one of them losing is great. If they tie, it's even better.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Ravens. They need to bounce back. I think they will. Vikings Panthers. I think this one's pretty obvious on paper, but I don't know, man. Vikings not very good.
No, they're not. And honestly, that defense might make Bryce Young look a lot better than he is at the present moment.
If he plays.
If he plays, that is true. What is he dealing with again? I know he's
Ankle injury.
ankle injury. Okay.
He's slated to go and suit up this week.
Trevor,
Well-
for any better out there, do not go. I'd go Vikings 3. That is the safest bet. Do not go any higher than goddamn 3.
The spreads
I
are
do not
4,
bet.
so that makes sense.
I don't trust the Vikings ever betting, but
I agree.
Jesus.
Yeah, even with Bryce Young in the early stage of his career, that offense has kind of struggled.
Oh God.
They did look decent against Seattle this past week. I believe
Seattle's
what did they put up?
Yeah, but
27 points.
Yeah.
It's going to be a similar type of game, I think, with the way the Vikings put up points and don't stop teams.
Yep.
I'm going with what you said, Nate, was more the obvious pick, right? The Vikings. I think it's the safe bet, but I would bump that spread down a little bit from 4. Maybe go 2.5 alt spread on it.
I just have to throw out there too to add to this. Frank Reich, given another shit position, I hope to God that guy doesn't lose his job. That's all I got to say. He had a shit fucking hand in the Colts organization. Then he gets another shit hand in Panthers. The guy is a hell of a coach. He just needs the personnel, and the organization is fucking him. Every organization he's been with. So I just got to throw that out there. He's one of the greatest football minds, I think. That's just not getting. If you give Mike Tomlin a shit team, Mike Tomlin ain't going to do shit. I don't care. It does not matter. It does not matter. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Who are you picking? Vikings?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, Vikings. Vikings -3. I'm going Vikings. Tight one, but high scoring. Titans Bengals. An intriguing one, but I think this one has an obvious pick too.
Titans.
Who's Fraba on the Bengals? They will take care of business against the Titans. I know Burrows might still be dealing with a nagging calf situation going on, but Joe Mixon can make up for it. They can still throw the short passing game, and that defense looked pretty good this past week. So give me the Bengals.
I think
another tight one though. Another tight one, probably within a score.
I think Vrabel's going to attack Burrow. I don't know. That's why I'm saying Titans. I don't. What Joe are we getting? That's what I got to know. You know what I mean?
It's true.
But I'm going Titans.
Right.
I have to.
Titans in an upset for DB. I'm going obvious choice Bengals. Manifesting it. Joe Burrow gets back on track, puts some haters to bed, and they get going here because they need to. Because I want them to. Because Joe Burrow's my fantasy quarterback,
and I want him to too. But God damn it,
he's too dang good to keep staying down like this. I don't care if he's got a calf injury. Figure it out, Joe. I think you will, and I think they're going to win big.
Yeah.
All right. Buccaneers Saints. This is an intriguing one with some of the mobility here. Jameis Winston gets inserted, so I want to know what you guys think. Bucs Saints.
Oh God, Trevor, this is a trap game for betting.
Yeah, no, I'm not touching this game from a betting perspective. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole. I'm not. No, this is gonna be too tight. Division matchup, plus, like you said, Nate, with the quarterback situation with the Saints. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But it is in New Orleans. It's in the Caesars Superdome, as they call it. I think we saw the true Baker Mayfield last week, unfortunately, and I think that carries into this week against the Saints defense. A low-scoring game. Both teams, I would say, in the teens, maybe low 20s. The Saints get to, but give me the Saints. I say they win by a touchdown.
Down to the wire, Nate. Field goal, Saints.
With the DB, lower scoring affair. I think it'll be higher teens for both teams. Maybe low mid teens for the loser. Going Saints, grind fest. Taysom Hill makes a difference in that game.
I like
Bills Dolphins, very intriguing matchup. Could be one of the best games of the weekend.
Oh, Trevor, this is another trap one too, buddy. Oh,
Mm. Mm.
what's the spread on that?
2.5 Bills, according to I believe it's Caesar Sportsbook is what ESPN uses.
I'm going to tell you, if you're a team having to face a team that just fucking put up almost record scoring,
70 points.
that is.
But at the same time, the Bills' offense is finding their stride. Josh Allen is slinging the ball like we know he can sling it. That could be a shootout. That could be a Kansas City. That could be a Kansas City Rams game right there. You got to remember that game, 54-51. We could see that again. But give me the Dolphins defense or Dolphins offense to cool off a little bit. I know I've been taking mostly favorites here. That's going to continue. I think the Bills get a big division win at home. And I think the defense makes a splash play in the fourth quarter to make that difference.
Oh, it's at Bills?
It's at Bills. It is in Buffalo.
I take that. Yeah, I'd take the Bills then. If it was in Miami, we'd have the same showing that we had last year when the Bills were down there. So,
yes. Yeah.
I'd take Bills.
Yes.
With the 2.5 spread.
In a bit of a shootout, but this game ends with, I should say, comes down to a defensive play of the Bills, a la, I believe it was the 20, what wild card game was it? Cardinals, Packers, where that defensive player scored in overtime.
Oh, that was a shootout.
Yeah, it was a shootout. I can't remember the player, though.
That was a shootout. Forgive me, I can't remember exactly what went down there, but we could see a similar situation.
Okay.
On Sunday, and I know I'm going to be watching that game.
Oh hell yeah, you have to.
Yeah, that'll be on there along right beside the Steelers game, which is also one. So
right.
Going Bills at home, multiple turnovers on Tua.
Okay.
And I'm not going a shootout. I'm going game in the 20s because the Bills will, I believe, they better get up there and start knocking these receivers off the routes. I know they're fast, but they have a great secondary that's intact for the first time in over a year.
Yes.
They better do it because that's a key. You got to get their timing off.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm going Bills.
Okay.
Bears Broncos, the game of the weekend. I think we already said. I think we already have all made our bets. I'm going Bears. The close one, I believe DB went Bears, and I believe Dinzy, you went Broncos, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll move on. Commanders Eagles, kind of an intriguing one. A divisional game, NFC East. Commanders coming off an absolute terrible display. Eagles coming off a good win. Defense looked phenomenal. Offense looked good enough. Commanders Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of points too. 8 is the spread on that. Toward the Eagles, obviously they're playing at home, currently undefeated.
I see a trap game here.
Yes, yeah. I smell it. I will say Eagles, but Commanders cover the spread. I think they lose by 4 or 5.
I think after Jalen Hurts' performance, I think he has 2 interceptions. And I think, I go with Trevor on that. I think they cover the spread, but Philly still wins. But I don't want them to because I'm really starting to get pissed off with the Philly fans. I'm just going to throw that out there. They're already fucking starting to fly, Eagles, fly. All right, calm down. All right, fuck. Let's come on. Just like the Bills. Like, come on. Let's see what happens. Okay. Guys lost the Super Bowl last year. We don't want to talk about that, but hey, all right. Anyways.
With you, Trevor, trap game, like you guys said. Eagles taking Commanders to cover that, taking Eagles by a field goal to win the game. Jake Elliott bangs it through, taking the Eagles in a close one. Commanders ended their undefeated season last year on Monday Night Football. If you guys remember, Trevor, I told you the Commanders were winning that football game. If you can remember back,
you did.
And but nope, they're not getting them this time. Going to be close though. Commanders defense keeps them in it. Sam Howell doesn't turn it over as many freaking times as he did last week, but Eagles in a close one. Jake Elliott wins it at the end. Steelers Texans. I know DB thinks it's going to be a blowout.
It's not.
Trevor and I think it's going to be closer. I think we all agree picking the Steelers. DB thinks he'll blow them out. We think it'll be, in classic Steeler fashion, a one-score game with Matt Cannon as their OC. So I'll just move on to Chargers and Raiders. A battle of the basement of the AFC West. And Chargers 1-2, Raiders, I believe, are also 1-2. So what do you guys think?
Well, Jimmy, we don't know. Aiden O'Connell might be starting this game.
Brian
Yes.
Hoyer, right?
Or
Oh, yeah,
heard-
Hoyer. Yes, Hoyer.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, Hoyer is for sure, because I didn't know if McDaniels was on the fence.
Well,
It-
it's
it-
not for certain, but that would be, I believe, the starter.
Okay.
Yes.
Jimmy can't go.
I'm taking Justin. I'm taking Justin Herbert in the Chargers all day, and that's going to be a blowout.
I was thinking the same thing. Get right game for Los Angeles. They win by 10 plus.
Yeah, I go -10. Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, Trevor. I think the Chargers put a nice little spanking on the Las Vegas Raiders, and they get 30 plus points. That's what I'm
Yes.
thinking. 49ers, Cardinals. I think this is, although the Cardinals last week beat what
I know.
you could argue is the best NFC team. Do they do it 2 weeks in a row? I'll go first.
Sure.
No, they don't.
No. I'm with you. Spread is 14 on that game, though. That's a lot of points. Arizona could theoretically cover that. Are they going to win? Quite frankly, that'd be a bigger upset than Cowboys for multiple reasons. Cardinals were at home last week, and obviously the Cowboys, they're going to cowboy every now and again, and they cowboyed this past week, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. But the 49ers, there's a reason there's not a verb attached to their team name. The 49ers aren't going to 49er, so to speak, or they will 49er in that they will win this game and they will cover that spread.
What's the plus and minus?
The over-under is 44.
Money line.
Spread is 14.
14. Okay. And the Cardinals have to be like plus 600 or something, Trevor, to win.
I'm not sure. I'm just viewing the ESPN.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm just viewing
I you know what? If you want to fuck around and you got money to blow, put $5 on the Cardinals to win. You never know.
That
you
is
never
true.
know.
That is true.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, Josh Dobbs beats the Cowboys and then beats the fucking 49ers. His stock.
Mm-hmm.
Could he be Geno Smith of last year if he starts doing that? Holy smokes!
I mean, that would be a hell of a story. I hope it happens, but I don't think it is.
And Drew, you were damn near on the money with that plus 600. They're plus 610.
See, I'm
Plus
betting.
610.
You know what I mean?
Like you said, they fuck around and find out with $5 if you really want to, but nah.
I got with $30. Come on now, baby.
Nah. Niners will take care of business in dazzling fashion.
49ers, yeah, all day.
Yeah.
Be a good story.
Patriots, Cowboys. That's an intriguing one.
Can both teams lose?
Yeah, I'd be more than okay with that. Let's hope for another tie.
Yeah.
I think another loss, Mike McCarthy's job's very at risk.
Ooh.
I have to say that.
Wow.
I think if I have the Patriots winning, and I think there's questions because I think Bill Belichick's going to outcoach Mike McCarthy. He's still struggling from that ass kicking. So
I will say the Cowboys, like I just said, Cowboys are going to cowboy out. And they did last weekend, and I enjoyed the hell out of it for the third time this show. They usually don't do it twice in a row.
Yep.
Cowboys. Spread is 7. I don't think they cover that. Just because I think Belichick's defense will keep the Pats in the game enough, but I don't think the Pats will get over the hump. I'll take Dallas by 4.
okay.
I'm taking Dallas. Patriots need to keep pace in the AFC East, but I don't think they can. They got a big win last week. It was ugly. The offense doesn't look great. I think the Cowboys' pass rush is coming for Mac Jones. I think the Cowboys get it done, get back on track. Another obvious one, I think, Chiefs-Jets. Could this be Zach Wilson's last game starting as a Jet? We'll see. What do you guys think?
Could be. Could be. Yeah, that line is at 9.5 the Chiefs' way. Again, a lot of points. And the Chiefs, it's still early in the season. Their offense can go up, down, sideways, and a roundabout. They only scored, like I said, they only scored 17 points the other week, put up 40 on the Bears this past week. I'll take, weirdly, the Jets to cover, but Chiefs to win. I think to win by touchdown.
If it was at Arrowhead, I'd say Chiefs. I think Kelsey and Taylor are going to be strolling through New York City. I've alluded to this comment before. Mickey always told Rocky, not the night before a fight. Okay, you got to keep the legs fresh. Travis doesn't follow that. Jets beat him.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go Chiefs over Jets. Zach Wilson plays just good enough to keep his job for one more week. And Robert Saleh gets heat for it. The defense gets more pissed in classic Jets fashion.
Yes.
Last game.
I can see that.
Last game. Monday Night Football, Seahawks, Giants. What do you guys think? This is a tight one. I don't know who to pick on this one, but
yeah.
One team can't put up any points. One team puts up all the points, can't stop anybody. We'll see. What do you guys think? It's in New York, I believe.
And Saquon is still
New Jersey.
out.
New Jersey.
Yeah, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Saquon is still out, correct?
Believe that's correct, but there is a outside shot that he plays. If it's not, It's going to be Briata and Gary Brightwell show.
Got you. Okay. Line is even on that one, over under 47.5, understandably so, with the way, like you just said, Nate, Seahawks can put up points, but they can't stop nobody. So, jeez.
I think this is the ugliest game of the week.
I can see that.
I think it's going to be smash mouth football, very low scoring. I don't think but I think the Seahawks win, and Dable just absolutely, I think, has a hemorrhage on the sideline. Yeah,
those veins on his head could pop.
Jesus,
they've already popped.
Get that guy a towel. I mean, that head's getting sweaty as shit.
Yeah,
get him a Krispy Kreme. God bless his soul.
Oh, he was. There was a photo that circulated of the NFL coaches at the meetings in the summer. Brian Daboll's head was absolutely sunburnt. His bald head was sunburnt. It was kind of hilarious.
It's fucking beating.
That being said, I don't think I can bet on two New York teams in the same week, so I will take the Seattle Seahawks to go to 3-1 and do it in a mid scoring game. I'd say probably around 27 to I'll say weirdly 19. 27-19.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
I'm going to go Seahawks in this one. I don't think it'll be smash mouth, but I think it's going to be ugly, like you said, Drew. I think it'll be ugly in that.
Yeah.
Nobody can do anything.
No.
Except for big plays. Yeah. That's the only thing I think will happen. I think we'll see some interceptions. I think we'll see like a couple big connections down the field to like Lockett and Metcalf, and maybe a lapse in defense from the Seahawks that they always seem to kind of give up these days.
Yeah.
You know, I think a big play is brewing for the Giants. They need a big play. But yeah, I think it'll be Seahawks in an ugly, inefficient passing performance game from each quarterback. But I think Geno Smith has enough around him to make enough plays. He's got the confidence going. And Daniel Jones, not playing like Danny Dimes. He's just playing like Dan out there. So that's all the games. And that's
man.
Yeah.
Just want to throw one more thing out there. I take the over rushing yards for Daniel Jones in that game as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I would too. All right. Well, pass it over to Dinzy to wrap us up. I know we're having a long-winded episode. Hopefully we can get it under 2 hours here. We'll talk about Heisman and Week 5 matchup in college football to end it here.
Yeah, sounds good. I want to give out some matchups I'm going to be looking forward to during this week. What are we in, Week 5 or Week 4, I guess. Notre Dame's in Week 5, but we're technically in Week 4, I believe. I have that math right? We're in Week 4?
Week 5.
Okay. Or no, we are in Week 5. Excuse me. Yeah, just some games I'm going to be keeping my eyes on here. Friday night, Utah, Oregon State. Cam Rising taking first-team reps, but he still might not play. -3 is the spread to Oregon State. Be a nice, interesting game there. I probably got to take Oregon State and DJ Uiagalelei. He's having a great season so far. I think that continues. USC Colorado. The spread is 21.5 to USC, and we've all kind of gave our predictions on Colorado, and they obviously just got absolutely spanked by Oregon. So seemingly the hype is subsided for them. Bit of a trap game for Notre Dame, coming off of a loss, to Ohio State. Very devastating loss. As I told you guys, I stayed up for half the night crying after that. But it is what it is. And by the way, Ryan Day, keep Lou Holtz's name out your mouth. You just made this personal with me in Ohio State. Just throwing that out there. Notre Dame at Duke. Spread is 6 to Notre Dame. But obviously, Duke has shown pretty good flashes this season. They're a pretty well-balanced team in the ACC, so it could be an interesting game. One game that probably not a whole lot of people are keeping tabs on. Actually, side note, game day is going to Duke, so game day will be a second consecutive Notre Dame game. Hopefully that's not bad luck for the Irish. Anyway, another game that I'm keeping track of, maybe not a whole lot of people are, Kansas at Texas. I think that's a real prove-it game for both teams. Spread is 16.5 to Texas. Obviously, you got Ewers gunning for the Heisman, and I think he's still my Heisman pick. I think he's going to win it. And Kansas up-and-coming football program after years and years and years of ineptitude under the likes of freaking Charlie Weiss, who used to coach Notre Dame. I know I keep focusing on Notre Dame. My apologies.
That's all right.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, real prove-it game for both teams. Can Kansas keep the score low enough and keep Ewers off the board? And can Texas take care of who they're supposed to take care of at home? We know they can do it on the road. They beat Alabama. They are for real. Texas is back. I think they will officially prove it when they take care of the teams they're supposed to take care of. LSU Ole Miss. Y'all know who I'm rooting for in this one. As much as I hate to root for Lane Kiffin, I'm not rooting for Brian Kelly.
Uncle Lane, baby.
Uncle Lane. And then another one I'm watching, Spencer Rattler against Tennessee. That spread is 12 to Tennessee. Kind of another prove-it game to see if Tennessee's for real and if the Gamecocks can keep pace with the rest of that conference. If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Tennessee there. But yeah, that's all I had as far as games to watch. And like I told you guys, I told you guys last week, Sam Hartman for Heisman. He can still do it.
Yes.
He can still do it. Got to be USC. Got to be Clemson. Obviously, we got to take care of Duke.
Right. Punch him in the mouth.
Quinn Ewers will make a good run at the Heisman, but I got to stick with my guns here. I got to stick with my guns. I got to stick with my team. I got to stick with my quarterback, Sam Hartman, balling out rest of the season. They'll take that. Nate, I know you have some different opinions on that.
Yeah, Sam Hartman, like you said, still has a good shot. Got to win these games, though. You got to keep winning. If you beat Clemson and USC, I don't see them losing to anybody else. I don't think, other than maybe Duke. But I think Duke is going to have a wake-up call this weekend. I think Notre Dame is going to blow them out. I think Sam Hartman will have a huge bounce-back game. He'll go from game manager last weekend to 3-4 touchdowns against Duke this week. Personally, I think Clemson's down. I think Duke, exposed Clemson, but I don't think Duke is that good personally. Remember, this is a basketball school, and sure, I know, so is Kansas and yada, yada, yada. So is Kentucky. They're all 4-0, but I think that some of these teams are due for losses. I think Florida's going to beat Kentucky. I think that Kansas is going to get beat by Texas, and I think that Duke's going to get down. So I think this basketball turned football school crap is about over with. It was cute for the first 4 weeks, but let's get back on track here. Let's remember who the big dogs are. Let's remember that Notre Dame's a big dog in this college football thing in most years, and Duke isn't. So, yeah, that's what I think. But going back to the Heisman to kind of wrap up the show, Bo Nix, pretty hard to argue with that, man. Dude's doing unbelievable things. He's scored like 50 touchdowns in like 15 or 18 games in his career at Oregon so far. It's unbelievable the pace he's on. And Michael Penix Jr., my gosh, just keeps ripping it off, man. Unbelievable. Going to be a first-round pick. Going to be a lefty quarterback in the NFL to join Tua. Going to be very interesting. People didn't even think he was going to play football after the ACL injury. Transfers from Indiana, goes to Washington. They're college football playoff possibly bound here. They can get through the gauntlet. There's the Pac-12, them or Oregon. They got a good chance to do something. But let's also not rule out Caleb Williams. Could he be the first Heisman repeat in a long time? I don't know, but he's still in the running. Those are the top 5 guys: Ewers, Hartman, Penix, Bo Nix, and Caleb Williams, right? And Shador Sanders maybe, but I think this is the demise of Colorado. 6-6, I think. We'll see.
Yeah, they still have Oregon State, Washington State, and Utah to play. So I could definitely see 6-6. And if they let either of their road games, Arizona State or UCLA, slip,
All right, boys. Anything else, or we go?
Yeah, let's talk about Matt Avery's question. Chase Claypool. Sorry, buddy. Chase Claypool is a bust. I don't know how you feel, Matt Avery. You probably are with it though too. Dude can't time a jump ball. Dude can't block. Thank goodness he's off our books. I'll gladly see him in a Bears uniform. He's closer to home. He's a Canadian, so maybe this was great for him to kind of get a little bit closer to the Canadian border. I don't know. Sorry, Trevor. He's a Notre Damer. I don't know if you claim him anymore after some of his antics and some of his crap that he pulled with the Steelers. But, yeah, I'm glad he's off our books. Chase Claypool, man, he's got a physical gift. Big guy, strong kid, can run, but he just isn't putting it together. On and off the field. So I'm out on Claypool, unfortunately.
I agree with you. So after that one play when we could have won the goddamn game and he wants to celebrate, that's when he sold his ticket for me. I'm not about Chase Claypool. Ben literally has to fight with you to get the ball from me because you're too worried about showboating. No, sorry.
It was worth it. He got a first down. I mean, it was totally worth it. We lost the game though, but he got a first down. So I'm really happy for the guy.
Yeah, jackass.
I remember it. I remember it. It was the most memorable first down of my life. So it was great.
Trevor, any standpoint? We're not. Notre Dame has produced modeled men, modeled athletes. This guy's just one bad apple. That's it.
No knock on Notre Dame. I only have one word. I only have one word to describe Chase Claypool.
Right.
One word, 3 letters, 1 syllable. Bum.
Yeah. He's a bum.
They didn't teach him how to put his eye block on there either, apparently.
No. No, they didn't teach him not to celebrate after getting the first down.
Yeah.
And, clock's running.
He's not a representation of that program or the Steelers program. So, we appreciate everybody in the comments. Really getting the comments up here. More questions next week would be greatly appreciated. We always love interacting with you folks out there. Sorry again for the shitty intro. But it flew game here. We'll come back stronger next week. But you two boys leading the charge here it was a pleasure, and I can't thank you boys enough. I really appreciate it. And we'll be back with another episode next week, Tuesday at 8. And all gas, no breaks. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe out there, and thank you for watching. Thank you, fellas.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Pleasure as always.